One podcast has crushed the horror landscape, leaving behind the silent audio waves of all of those who have came before. Introducing our host. This man needs no introduction, but needs 7 takes to record his own. He is known for rating bad movies high and known for rating good movies high. Don't try to call him because he only phones it in. He is our host from the foreign land of Canada, Mood 616. This man is willing to die even on the smallest of hills. He argues to the point in which he disagrees with himself. A man who knows a remake when he sees one. He is the Mexican-born super producer known as the humble one and the sexy one, JP. They are known for creating superstars out of their guests. They are known for being the #1 horror podcast on the Horrorphilia network, except for when they allow others to take a turn. They are the devil's advocate of horror podcasting. They are the 22 shots of moods and horror.
Yes, y'all, it's going down right now. Episode 95 of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast is coming at you live. I am your host, the Italian stallion Giovanni Stallone, also known as Moods the Maestro. And we have the legitimate adopted son of Ben Roethlisberger in the house, Double Shot J, also known as JP. And of course we have the quacking Boston Ripper Brando back in the sound studio, also known as Derek. What's going on, homies?
What's up, man?
Yo, what up?
Look at that. First time. No fuck-ups this week. That wasn't bad. I'm proud of
great.
I'm proud of myself. So what's going on, guys? How was your week?
Pretty...
Not bad. It was, you know what, man? I totally forgot. It was, Black Friday / Thanksgiving. You want to know something about Thanksgiving, listeners?
Oh yeah, American Thanksgiving. That's right.
I think that. Yeah, I forgot. I think that this was our 3rd Thanksgiving recording this show, and for the last 2 or 3, we've had a Thanksgiving show planned, not including this one. We didn't do that for this because, actually, not this year or last year because we had Italian horror, but the year before that.
Yeah.
And the year before that, I think. When did we start? We started in November, I believe. It might have just been the one year that we planned it. Who knows? I'm fucking dumb, guys. Don't listen to me. But the idea was to do Thanksgiving on Canadian Thanksgiving, and then to do Thanksgiving 3 on American Thanksgiving because they're pretty close. Like, how far are they apart?
About a month.
Okay, so, and we never did it, and then we came up with Italian Horror Month, and, you know, the rest is history, but it's funny because I remember specifically watching Thanksgiving for that one year and not doing it.
People forgot about that, man.
Yeah, there's been tons of shows that we've planned that have never happened. Like, I know one that was really big was the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, like, 4 films. Like, we had the 4 different versions of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I actually even watched the first one in preparation, and then I was going on to the second one, and then...
That's right.
Hey, remember when before I was on the show, I made that joke to you about it's going to be a OG versus remake versus remake versus remake?
Yeah. But... Yeah. So it was Black Friday it's Black Friday is on Thanksgiving, which is a Thursday, pretty much. I mean, Black Friday itself is listen, I went to Walmart for Black Friday.
Oh my god, it was so hectic,
it's
man.
Never too bad out here. You know what I mean? It's fucking annoying and stuff, but I got there really late, and like people were already had like all of the good stuff, and like people were actually leaving. Like when I left. Like, the parking lot was actually, like, nowhere near as full as it was. But I ended up going over to the DVD section, which they fucking tricked me. Because 2 years in a row, they had it over by the produce. And this year, they had it all the way back by the milk. Which is the other opposite end of the food section. And I was looking around.
Why are the DVDs in the food section anyways?
They do things weird out here, man. Like I think just because like space wise, that is always the biggest unless a new gaming system has come out, that's always the biggest section that people go to. They need to just split up the games and DVDs because most people are there for the games anyway. And so I get in this long-ass line. It was a half-hour wait in this line. The first year I did it, I was just able to cut line because there wasn't, like, that much security or anything. This year they had, like, cops, and last year they had cops too. But I went through there, and it was just pitiful, dude. There was nothing there. They had American Horror Story, all the seasons on DVD for $10 each, which I was tempted. But a couple years ago, during a like Fox Connect sale, I grabbed the first season on Blu-ray, and it would be really annoying to me to have the first season on Blu-ray.
Your OCD kicked in and was like, I can't buy the rest.
But I can never find any of the seasons under like $25. It's insane with that show.
They're expensive. They are expensive, man.
Yeah, they are.
So I passed on those. There was this, oh my God, there was this guy and his wife, dude, who were standing right at the beginning of where the DVDs start, and they were I was like, oh, I'll just wait in line as they go through, you know, we'll take our turn to each little section, and they were standing there forever. I was just so frustrated that they were standing there so long that I just walked in ahead of him, and like then he tried to like move up, and I was like, no, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is bull. Like, you already stood there for that long, now I'm going ahead of you. And I ended up just grabbing Krampus, because that's one of the things, which we'll talk about in a second. That's one of the Christmas choices for our Viewer's Choice show coming up here. And that was like $3 or $4 on DVD. I was bummed that I didn't get the Blu-ray, because today the Blu-ray was only $5 on Amazon, so I'm mad about that.
Shit.
I'm mad about that. And then I grabbed The Witch for $6 on Blu-ray, which is a good deal. That's a good deal. I need to rewatch that for the year-end show. And the only other thing that I grabbed, because there was nothing, I grabbed Dragon Ball Season 1.
Wow, that's random.
And that was it, man. It was so depressing. I wasted all that time for nothing. I wanted to get... I was going to get some, like, Christmas shopping done and stuff. I didn't see anything for anybody. It was just a complete waste of time. So, how was your Black Friday?
Well, oh my God, it was absolutely insane, man. For the people that don't know out there, I work for Pure Later, so I obviously deliver. Well, of course, Walmart is actually on one of my is part of my route. And I had to go out there and deliver, and not only, to the back, I had to go in the front because I got a delivery lotto in there. It was a fucking madhouse, dude. Like, this whole area, there's like probably like 50 businesses kind of in the strip mall thing. And I had like a shitload of deliveries to do in there. And it was the worst shit I've ever seen in my life. The traffic was just through intersections, and people were like up on curbs, and no one could go anywhere and shit. I'm like, and then this big fucking 1-ton truck, and I'm like, this is the stupidest shit ever. And Walmart was just like, it was like an absolute zoo in there. And I was like, oh yeah, I was contemplating on going to Walmart yesterday, which I actually did, because I actually got out of that whole thing with my life. It was like insane. I thought I was actually going to die, because it was just so crazy up there. I've never seen, like, Black Friday is usually nuts, but this was the most insane thing I've ever seen.
It was like that South Park episode.
Yeah, it was like they were giving away free shit, man. People were just like driving over curbs and shit, like trying to get to these sales. I'm like, what are the big sales here, man? It's crazy. So ultimately, I didn't go out on Black Friday besides my 12 hours of fucking deliveries. But yesterday, I decided that I was like, I'm going to go check out Walmart and see what I can find in there. I didn't really find a whole lot of shit. Pretty much everything was just ravaged through, but I found a couple really shitty, those shittier Krampus films for like a couple bucks in there. And
like the low budget ones?
Yeah. I just grabbed them because I was like, fuck, whatever. I'll check them out. And, but no, there was like nothing for sale in there. Like absolutely nothing. I grabbed like the Magnificent 7 box set for like $14 or something like that. And so that was like it, man. Walmart was just like a total bust. Even online, Black Friday sales and shit. All I got was I picked up some Vinegar Syndrome stuff and a box set from Arrow, and that was it.
Okay, I didn't really so what did you guys do for sales then? What did you grab?
Vinegar Syndrome, before I went to work at 5 in the morning, I actually got up and I was like, okay, I wonder if this Jack Frost lenticular cover sold out. So I got up and I picked up that along with The Undertaker and a few blaxploitation films. And I grabbed the Scorpion box set from Arrow, and that was it. That's all I grabbed. So
yeah, I grabbed a few things online. I didn't really go out. I did go to Target before I went to work, though, because it was still open. So I was like, hey, let me see what they had. They didn't really have much, though, there. It was all, like, scattered around with the DVD section. And, yeah, I ordered a few things from Vinegar. I ordered The Undertaker and Jack Frost. Then I hit up Severin just for one title, because most of that bundle stuff I already owned, so it was kind of like, eh.
Yeah, I kind of figured that was going to happen. I didn't even bother going to the Severin site because of last year's fucking debauchery. Oh, it was ridiculous, man. I think I had, what did I have, like 7 or 8 titles in my cart, and the shipping was $93. And actually, in fact, that happened to me this year, too. I went to the Grindhouse Video sale that they were having. You know how they're having, like, an Arrow sale and stuff, and of course, they're having that Unearthed is having a big blowout sale, too. So, like, all their stuff is, like, half price or more than 50% off. So, anyways, I put, 6 or 7 titles into my cart, and my total was $36 or something for these DVDs because they were, like, $5 and stuff. My shipping was $35. And now I've ordered from Grindhouse Video a few times in the past, and the shipping has been really, really good, like really cheap and really efficient, like really fast and stuff. So I was surprised. I'm like, well, that's ridiculous. I'm hoping that their shipping isn't like that all the time now. Maybe they just kind of jacked it up for international, but that sucks, man. I mean, I'm not going to pay $35 shipping for the product that I'm paying $35 for. I mean, it just kind of... It defunct the sale, right? Crazy. I mean, I'm basically paying like full price for this shit. So plus, conversion and stuff. But I was like, that was a total bust because that's had some pretty cool titles in it. Like they had Nails, which has been out of print for a long time.
Yeah.
Had it in stock and stuff, and I wanted to grab that. And there was a couple other Unearthed titles I needed, but that's just too bad, man. Very unfortunate, but. Yeah. Otherwise, that would have been on my sale list, man. It was another place I was really looking forward to hitting up, but don't know what happened, man. I'm so mad about the shipping. Another crazy shipping story to Canada, of course.
Yeah, I also grabbed that Nurse Jill limited editions Blu-ray from Massacre Video, that 25% off.
Oh my god, have you watched it yet?
No, I didn't order it. I just ordered it. I didn't actually get a chance to watch it.
Oh yeah, I thought you told me that a few days ago. I didn't realize that it was actually part of the sale or whatever, but
they had all the limited Blu-rays for like 25% off, so I'm like, why not? It's only $1 more than the actual real, like the standard release.
Yeah, no doubt, right? That's awesome.
Free shipping.
I got, I did look at a few sales, and honestly, dude, this year there wasn't that much stuff that was worth it for me. I did actually, and you guys might be surprised, I did actually hit up the Vinegar Syndrome sale and buy the Jack Frost.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I think that is one of the best lenticular covers in history of lenticular covers. Like, it is really, really, like, good looking. Like, it definitely is.
Yeah, it pops out, man.
It looks
like
beautiful.
Even, how sometimes with, like, lenticular covers, you think, like, oh, like, it's not going to translate on camera. Like, you have to see it in person. Well, that thing translates on camera very well, It really does. It's... it looks fantastic. So I did grab that. The only reason I grabbed that was because, one, you could pay with PayPal. And I had, like, I don't know, like $16 in my PayPal account just from, I think Derek actually sent me some for that VHS or whatever. But
yeah.
I had some other in there, too. And I was just like, oh, well, like, this isn't that bad then because I'm only adding, like, $8 to it out of my actual bank account, So, I grabbed that. I didn't grab anything else from Vinegar Syndrome.
I was kind of shocked that we all guessed that one slasher film wrong, huh?
What was their slasher
film?
Yeah.
Well,
it was The Undertaker that they announced. We found out, but we were all
announcing 2 films.
Yeah, they did. It looks like a porn, the other one.
Yeah, All the Sins of Sodom, I believe, is like a porno. So I was kind of disappointed. I was actually kind of disappointed about the January 2017 package, too, because the October one was fantastic. It had, like, 4 horror films, and then it had, like, that
kind of porno box set thing in there too, which was worth it. I grabbed that because it was, well worth the money. But the January one, man, is Don't Answer the Phone, and it's got the double feature of Blood Mania and Point of Terror on there. But the other 3 titles are porno. And, usually, I probably wouldn't complain, but I don't find myself trying to go after porno.
Which porno
If there's
is
more,
it?
Blue Money. I think there's like Taboo 4. And
Taboo 4.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
so they're
How
pumping out
many
these
incest
taboo
films can you make?
I know, right? There are all these taboo films.
We should do this Taboo franchise.
Do for it?
Taboo
I think it's
franchise.
one.
I think there's like
for it.
17 taboo movies.
Yeah, but anyways, the point is there was like more porno in this one than horror films. I'm like, I don't know about that. But you couldn't order. This is the point I'm trying to get to. You couldn't order Don't Answer the Phone and the other double feature separately right now.
Yeah.
Available separately. So I was like, shit, man. So I'm gonna have to wait that one out.
Somewhere in an alternate universe, some dude's like, yeah, man, it's pretty awesome. They actually have like 3 pornos in this one and only 2 horror films, so I decided to go with it. That's a move in an alternate universe.
It's probably Zach.
But besides that Vinegar Syndrome sale, I hit up Barnes & Noble. I just grabbed one title, and I think it came to like $21, which I thought was fair. But apparently one of my friends at work told me that they seen this title on Amazon yesterday for $15. Now, I don't know if that's true because I did not see anybody post this.
You're talking about Return of the Living Dead 3.
All the Vestron titles? Look, man, they weren't that cheap. Unless it was a glitch on there for a minute, because I've seen that happen before, and then prices have changed.
Well, I actually picked mine up from Barnes & Nobles, too.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I checked today multiple times, and it started out at $25 in the morning. It dropped down to $20, up to $23, back to like $21 for Return of the Living Dead 3 on Amazon.com.
It's like, what the hell's going on, man? It's so crazy. Yeah, Return of the Living Dead 3 and Chud 2. Of course, I pre-ordered those a while back, and they didn't ship. Amazon.ca has those things temporarily out of stock. And this has been happening a lot. I know I've discussed this many, many times on the podcast about my shipping woes, but it's been happening a lot lately, and I haven't really been mentioning it, but not only has a lot of my pre-orders been not shipping right away, I think I had an update in October, and I said in my update that I just gotten stuff in that I'd pre-ordered from June, and that's kind of how it's been the last couple months for pre-orders. It's been really, really bad. These Vestron titles, none of them shipped on time for me. Just absolutely ridiculous. I'm getting tired of it. But another thing that's been going on with me is titles getting lost in the mail. I've had 4 or 5 things lost in the mail in the last 2 months. I haven't said anything, but it really, really odd. I bought this DVD from the seller, and it was cheap, and it never arrived. It was like 2 months. I kind of remembered about it. I was like, holy fuck, I never got that shit. So I contacted them. They're like, oh yeah, no problem. We'll send you out another one. I never got that one either. I'm like, that's so crazy. And that was through Amazon too, so that was really strange. But a couple albums I'd ordered, same thing, didn't arrive, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So getting kind of freaked out. I don't really want to make too big of orders right now because I'm kind of sketched out on shit getting lost right now. I mean, between pre-orders not shipping and things getting lost, it's been kind of sketchy, but so fucking frustrating, man. All I wanted to do was watch Return of the Living Dead 3 this week, and not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Who knows how long? Because it just says temporarily out of stock. It doesn't say shipping in 2 to 4 weeks or anything. It just says out of stock. And I'm like, okay.
You know what I think it is, man? I think they take pre-orders, and then if they get enough, they ship a batch up to Canada. But if they don't, then they just cancel them, and then everybody's kind of screwed.
That could be it. Who knows? I would really like to get some intel on how this thing works, because you would just assume if something's for pre-order on a website that they're able to get them. You know? Because let's put it this way. I mean, it's not like 10,000 people in Canada are pre-ordering Return of the Living Dead 3. In fact, it's probably 1% of that. Maybe not even. Who knows? So what is the problem here? Like, why can't they get, like, I mean...
Well, everyone that's what I'm saying, because it probably costs a decent amount to get that big crate of Return of the Living Dead copies up to Canada, because of like borders and ridiculous stuff like that. But so if they don't get enough people interested in it, then they don't actually bring any up.
But it's so random though, because I've pre-ordered, other films that have shipped right away where I completely thought that, the day that they came out, they were going to be temporarily out of stock, and they have shipped. And I'm like, wow, that's really strange. Like, you're like, did that one ship and this one didn't ship?
Yeah, like an IFC title maybe shipped, and you're like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, things like that. Exactly. So
I think it also just matters the distribution company as well.
Yeah, I think it does. It's just super frustrating though. It's been terrible, man. I hate Amazon.ca. Horrible. Yeah, started ordering things from we'll see how this works out. I ordered the zombie box set from, the Dawn of the Dead box set from Italy. So we'll see how long. The last couple
really
things
need another Dawn of the Dead?
No, I totally don't. 100% don't. But this box set is really damn cool. I didn't get the 5-disc one with the 4K disc. I got the 4-disc version. What the hell do I need the 4K one? I'm not upgrading to 4K anyways. But I couldn't pass this up, man. It's my favorite movie. And I was like, this box is really cool looking and shit. And I've had pretty good luck with shipping from Italy, though, to be honest. The last couple things I've ordered have shown up within 10 days. So, and I'm talking days. So that's pretty good, So we'll see. But I don't know if you guys have seen what it looked like. I know you've seen what it looked like, Derek.
Yeah, I saw it in the Facebook group.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Someone posted on Facebook. Yeah, it's super cool looking, but it's kind of like that favorite film type thing. And I mean, trust me, JP, if this box set right here was in a Chainsaw edition, I bet you'd probably go out. It's actually pretty.
Probably not, considering I own Chainsaw once, and I don't even know it on Blu-ray.
No, are you serious?
I'm serious.
Wow, you don't have it on Blu-ray. That's crazy. I'm surprised you never picked up that 40th anniversary from Dark Sky Films. That 4-disc one. It's actually pretty.
I just never did. I don't know. I just never did.
I always said that Dark Sky almost did too good of a job with that transfer.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that transfer? It's so ridiculously clean. Oh man, that Chainsaw just looks like a brand new film in that. And I've heard a lot of people saying it kind of takes away from the the grittiness of it and things like that. And I think it's a fair complaint actually. It's almost too clear. It's crazy, but it is what it is.
So I did end up grabbing Return of the Living Dead 3, and I think it came to 21 shipped. The shipping really killed that Barnes and Noble deal. Even though 21 is still better than 25, which is what these things normally are going for. And besides that, though, I didn't get anything else, I don't think. But I do know I still need Waxwork, which I seen that it dropped down to 21 today. And then it's right back up again. So I should have pulled the trigger when it was at 21, but I was kind of trying to hold back on buying a lot of shit right now, considering I just got paid.
At least that these prices on these titles are fluctuating so drastically. So if you see it go to a certain point, just pull the trigger, man. It's crazy that they're fluctuating that much during a day. It's like it's playing the stock market.
Yeah,
it's like watching stocks. They go up and down.
Sometimes I feel like it's every time I look at it, then they're like, "Oh, we got a view," and they put it right back up.
Well, it's Dylan was at my place on Friday. And we were, having some beers and stuff like that. And we were bullshitting, and he was talking about Sen and Tunchi, and he was watching it forever. It was sitting in his cart forever, and it dropped down half price. So he pulled the trigger on it, and he said right after he bought it, the price was back up to it jumped more than double than it was.
Yeah,
it's
there's definitely
it's
some kind of algorithm there.
There definitely is, and he's just like, what the fuck? It's like every time I buy something, I look at the price again, it's skyrockets, and I'm like, yeah, it does that to me too. It's weird. It's like they're just waiting for you, and we're gonna fuck the next guy on this one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's always like that.
But one thing that I did notice, and I don't know if a lot of people noticed this as well, but Draft House actually had a sale. Did you guys check this out?
Yeah,
I didn't think
they did, and I kind of sucked it because it was after I spent a lot of money on other shit, and I didn't really. I was like, wow.
Well, this sale was incredible, but by the time I got to it, everything that I wanted was out of stock. And I didn't get this far, but I heard the shipping was insane. But
it's $7 a title.
Miss 45 was $7. Wake and Fright was $5, and these are the Blu-rays too.
Damn.
Yeah, so that kind of sucked. I got super excited for a second, and then instant unexcited. Miss 45 was the main one I wanted, which I still don't own, and it was like $7, but I hear the shipping was like, you know, insane, and it was actually out of stock, so I didn't even get that far.
Yeah, I had Piata in my car for a while. I wanted to grab that one, and it was like fucking $7, so it was like a $12 Blu-ray, so it was like, it was still kind of good, because then they would just add like the $7 to it, and it would have been like $20. It was normal price, so I'm like, but I already spent enough money on like other stuff. I picked up a few other like newer films that I needed for the year end type deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I probably would have went after that Miami Connection, man. Maybe The Invitation too. It was like the only two that I kind of wanted. But yeah, I don't know. If the shipping was insane to you guys, I'm sure it was like retarded to me. Like Severin levels.
So with that said, I mean, pretty weak Black Friday if you ask me. And one thing that we did do though is,
well, yeah, man. I mean, you even made a thread about, you know, Black Friday sales and stuff. Post them up here, and it was like, how many responses?
It was crickets.
Or just it was like people were just embarrassed to post there because like, well, this isn't even good enough to put in that thread right there. So
the full moon sale was retarded. It was like 3 things.
Listen,
full moon
also, has
but
not
they also
had a good sale since like 2012 Valentine's Day.
Yeah, they always have terrible sales. Plus, their shipping is just stupid. It's not worth it.
Listen, right? Full Moon used to offer 50% off with free shipping. That was their annual Valentine's Day sale. I hit it up from like 2009 to 2012, and it was awesome. It would take a month and a half for you to get your order, but once you got it, like you would be like. Sometimes they would throw in extra shit, like shit that I didn't even order. Like Full Moon used to be the
that's
shit
probably
back
just
in
them
the day.
fucking up, man. They're so unorganized
I
down
don't
there.
know though, because like I ordered the Puppet Master box set, the original box set, which had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Retro and Curse, and then I ordered the Axis of Evil trunk, which had part 9, I believe, in it, or 8. I can't remember. 9. I can't remember. And then they threw in the one that was in between, the Legacy. So it was like the one that wasn't in either box set. So I was like, I almost feel like they had to have done that for free. Like, you know, like, I don't know. Like, I mean,
if that was a fuck up, that was very coincidental. You know,
yeah,
it was, like, wow,
it was the one
that I needed.
fucking title that I needed, which I was pissed that I didn't get when I ordered both those sets. I was like, damn it, now I'm gonna need the Legacy, even though the Legacy sucks. Let's do a Puppet Master show. No, I'm just, but anyway,
yay, let's do it.
So yeah,
no, that's another franchise we got to wait for the new one to come out because they're dropping another one of those
and a remake too.
Oh man, it just like never ends.
yeah, we definitely. That's one that I wouldn't mind doing at all. I honestly I know we talked about like some of these bigger ones potentially breaking them up into a 2-part show, but those films are so short. I don't even think we need to do that with those.
Yeah, honestly, they're like 70-minute films.
Yeah, some of them are like 60 minutes long.
Yeah, I mean, I love those movies, but anyway, we did post the poll for the Christmas Viewer's Choice. This will be Viewer's Choice Volume 4?
I believe so, yeah.
And
I think it's Volume 4, yeah.
And it's the Christmas edition, Christmas 2016. So, we have an interesting history with Christmas shows because we've done one. This will be our 4th annual, I believe.
Yeah.
We did Black Christmas in year 1, and then we did Silent Night, Deadly Night in year 2. And then we did Jack Frost last year. Yeah, Silent Night, Deadly Night franchise. So this is the 4th year for the Christmas show, and this is our first 4th anything. This is our first 4th annual of anything, so I think that's pretty cool. And the poll was out. It had pretty much every notable and some bad ones, Christmas horror films from the last, ever, besides the ones we were talked about already.
Yeah.
And the ones that floated to the top early, it was Rare Exports, it was Krampus, which is no surprise, and the other one was what? Black Christmas.
The remake Black at Christmas.
And it ended up with Rare Exports being dethroned in place of Gremlins. And I know, Moods, you said that you were very disappointed.
Man, I got a little bone to pick with this poll, man. It's like, Jesus Christ. I thought for sure Rare Exports was going to get in there. People would probably... Like, it's not like I dislike Gremlins or anything. I just didn't think it would, kind of pull through and get that many votes.
Don't ever underestimate the love for Gremlins, man.
Yeah, so I was a little bit disappointed because, not only have I reviewed Krampus on this show, I've reviewed Black Xmas before, like on my own channel, and Gremlins I just never thought I would actually review because, well, let's face it, is it a horror film?
Yeah,
it's a creature feature.
It's 100% a horror film.
Okay, but I just thought it was one that I would probably never review for some weird reason. I don't know. It's really strange.
Well, what did you vote for?
Rare Exports, and
I think Don't Open Christmas and Elves.
And Elves, yeah, that's what I voted for. Which would have been fun. I mean, let's face it, man. Elves, strange film. I think the conversation would have been fun. Don't Open Till Christmas, man, dude, so much fun. So.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of lovers out there for Black Xmas. That one actually was more legitimately a bigger surprise because it actually finished second in the votes, didn't it?
It's actually, right now, it's sitting at first.
My God. Like, are these people voting for this because they haven't seen the movie? Or, I don't know. What's going on?
Well, I'll tell you right now, Krampus actually fell in the third, because obviously we didn't delete the poll, so people were still voting after it was shut down. But Gremlins moved into second, and Krampus moved into third.
Wow. Was there anything close to third? Because it seemed like the top three actually were like pretty solidified. Because I don't know if Rare Exports
only lost by 2 votes.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I actually voted for. Well, actually, it's funny. Brandon voted for the top 3. So Black Xmas, Gremlins, and Krampus was for also. He voted for all 3 of those.
Of course, you can blame Brandon for this show.
Well, I voted for Gremlins too.
Really?
Yeah.
I never thought in a million years you would have voted for Gremlins, man.
I love Gremlins. It's one of my favorites. I always want to talk about it.
I voted for Gremlins. I voted for Saint, and I voted for P2.
Oh yeah, P2. That's cool.
I voted for Gremlins, Don't Open for Xmas, and what was the other one I voted for?
I'm surprised Don't Open Till Christmas didn't get more fucking votes, man. That sucks.
What was in 5th?
Yeah, but like, bad. Yeah, pretty far back.
You know what, man? I was gonna vote for Black Xmas, but I seen that it didn't need any help at all, so I was just like, I'm not gonna vote for it. There's a bunch on here I realistically would have liked to cover, though. Like, Elves is one, Saint, P2, Cadaver Christmas, Dead End, ATM I wouldn't have minded covering.
I think I voted for Sheeton. I think that was the other one I wanted
to... The only one I actually didn't want to do was A Christmas Horror Story. That's the only one in the entire thing that I didn't want to do.
You reviewed that before, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, but I've reviewed Gremlins and Black Xmas on the show before, I think, as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, and I might have even reviewed Elves on the show.
I think you might have, actually, to be honest.
In those early days, I was doing a lot of, like, Christmas watching for what we watched.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, I reviewed Santa's Sleigh. I reviewed...
Santa's Sleigh.
Yeah, I mean... It was.
I covered such a big portion of Christmas horror films that one year I did that 25 Days of Christmas Horror.
Oh yeah,
so I covered such a huge point, and I actually forgot about P2. So I've never reviewed that film, so that was one that was left off. But that would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, P2's fun. But yeah, so I'm actually very happy with the picks. I think.
Well, it does give me another reason to watch Krampus again.
Exactly.
I still have a sealed Blu-ray of it. I haven't even cracked it open. I think I got it last year.
I don't know. I think it'll be a fun show, to be honest.
Yeah, well, me and my friend are doing a Christmas marathon all December, and, honestly, Gremlins and Black Xmas was both on that list, so That's one thing, and I haven't seen Krampus, so that's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
That's
me
a film
neither.
that I
So
haven't
it's gonna be a
seen.
first time watch too.
Oh, you guys, neither of you seen it yet? Wow. Well, you're like the king of killing two birds with one stone, JP.
Oh, 100%. I kill 3 birds with one stone sometimes. Like, you definitely know that, because all throughout the history of the show, I've tried to, like, plan things to where they did multiple things. Like, 100%, like, all the time. If you look back through the history of the show, like, some episodes I'll be like, oh, well, we covered this here so that I could do this here over here, you know?
Yeah.
But Gremlins is a favorite of mine. I love Gremlins. It's one of my favorite horror films ever. And you might be surprised on my opinions on Black Xmas. Well, actually, you wouldn't be if you have a good memory, because I've given my opinions on this show about Black Xmas.
Yeah, I actually truly can't remember if you liked it or not. I'm pretty sure you guys know my thoughts on it. I've seen the movie like 3 times, and it's never really gotten much better for me. So
it's been a while since I watched it. It's probably since it came out, to be honest. So I'm kind of interested to check it back out again. Yeah. It's been a while.
I reviewed it way back on episode 4.
Oh, no, I actually did watch Gremlins last year. I watched Gremlins last year. That's right, I showed the kid Gremlins. So I haven't seen it within the last year, but yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's stuff. I mean, if anything, though, dude, like next year when we do the poll, 3 of those huge heavy hitters won't be available. You know what I mean? So it's like, who knows? For all kind of shit.
Who knows? There's some more Christmas films coming out. I think there's that one by Wild Eyes coming out right now. What's it called?
Secret Santa.
Secret Santa.
Cannibal Claus.
There's Cannibal Claus.
I actually watched Cannibal Claus. It's fucking hilarious.
That's funny. And then there's that one that you watched, JP, from this year.
All Through the House.
All Through the House. That's what it is. You said it was pretty average?
No, I liked it. I mean, it's not an amazing movie, but it's pretty fucking fun, honestly.
So, I mean, at least we're getting, some new ones to, look forward to.
It's probably better than than everything you named before it. 100%. But, yeah, I mean, there's a ton of fucking Christmas movies out there, and it seems like we get a good handful every year, so we'll never really run out. And it's fun, man. I think I like this. Since we're out of franchises for Christmas, I think this is a good way to handle Christmas episodes.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
If we run out of Christmas films, though, then we could add, like, winter films, too, to the list.
Yeah. But, I mean, we'll never run out of winter.
I have to admit, man, I'm a little bit surprised that they never made a sequel to Silent Night. Like the new film.
Oh, the remake, the remake in name only type?
Yeah, exactly. I'm surprised they never made a sequel to that film.
Kind of set up for one, too.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing, right? They set it up for one, and I don't know. It seemed like most people seem to kind of like it. I don't know. But, I mean, it wasn't like a fantastic film, but they just seem to make sequels to Christmas films too often anymore, unless they're Krampus films, like shitty low budget Krampus. That one little shitty one from last year, Krampus Christmas Devil, got a sequel this year.
The Ascension or something,
dude.
It's like, what the fuck?
Whatever Krampus I watched from last year was so fucking awful.
I think that's the same one.
I know there was one that was called Krampus the Awakening, and there was one Krampus a Christmas Devil, and that one got a sequel, I think, this year or something. I don't know if it was put out this year. It's so fucking strange, man. There's like 3 Krampus films that dropped all in like the same month last year.
So, with that said, that show will be coming probably the week of Christmas, but definitely before Christmas, probably like the 23rd of December or so. Actually, it'd be the 21st of December. So, look forward to that. One other thing that I wanted to get to before we move on with the show into the news, we had some iTunes reviews. I said a while ago that I was going to read the foreign ones on an upcoming show, so I figured we'll start with those. Now, one thing that I would like to say, guys, is thank you for rating and reviewing the show. You honestly don't know how much it helps. Like, I was listening to an old episode of Exploding Heads today, and Dave was talking about when they type Exploding Heads into iTunes, the first thing that popped up was Exploding Barrels podcast. which was a video game podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And after you guys and their guys reviewed their show on iTunes, now Exploding Heads are the first thing that pops up. So it does help. When you type in podcast horror, those keywords, it helps. The more reviews you have, the higher you kind of rank on that search bar, that search engine. So it surely does help, even if you don't listen to the show through iTunes, which a lot of you guys don't, because obviously we see Moods' numbers on the YouTube channel. It would still be very much appreciated, and you're entered into all contests that we do when you review us on iTunes. I know we plug this a lot, but if there's anything that you guys can do to help us, we don't charge for the show or anything. Just that small little favor, and you'd be true homies. You know what I'm saying? Like
true homies.
The people that review the show are the true homies of us. And if you don't want to, if it takes too much time because iTunes sucks dick, that's cool too. You're still homies. Anyway, if you're in a foreign land or anywhere outside of the United States, your reviews are in your own region, so we won't be able to see them. You have to send us a screenshot. And by the way, I told you guys that you could send it anywhere. Don't do that. Send it to the email, because I have a nice little folder where I keep them all, so when I do the contest, they're easy to reach. So if you have sent me one somewhere else, Dylan, I know that you have, can you please email it to me too, please, buddy? Because it's just easier to keep track of. So everybody who submits one, please do it via email. Send a screenshot. Thank you. So first up here we have Ollie Hicks. This is, I don't know where he's from, but he did leave a review, and it sucks because he actually had his account open, so it actually is blocking part of the review, so I can't even read the whole thing. It says, it's 5 stars, best horror podcast out there. I've been listening on and off since the first episode. Recently started listening to everyone that blank, 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 back catalog. The show keeps getting better every week. It really is all you need for horror-related news, reviews, releases, blank, 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 blank. Best podcast out there. So, couldn't see all of it, but thank you, Ollie, for that. UK iTunes review. So that's one from UK. And this one is from Chris Henderson, and he says, pure entertainment, 5 stars. Great show. Both of the hosts have great chemistry with each other, and they delve into some interesting, not much talked about movie franchises. So thank you. And wherever that one is from, I can't see, but I see we have 8 ratings over there based on the screenshot. So whatever country that's from, thank you.
Sweet.
So let's go move to the next one. Oh, shit. Oh, okay. This one is from Canada. So this one is from Canada. And it is... doesn't say who it is. So...
How could it not have their name?
One second. He sent me 2 screenshots. So one of the best... Okay, it's from Slushy Man. Actually, Dylan, you don't even need to send yours, homie, because I see it in Slushy Man's screenshot. So, Slushy Man, he says, which is, by the way, the 7th review on Canadian iTunes, so that's pretty cool. He sent it October 27th. He says, one of the best, 5 stars. One of the best horror podcasts around, just as funny as it is informative. I've always considered myself a pretty big horror fan, but these guys have opened my eyes to so many more horror flicks I had never heard of, or I have, but I've never really bothered to check them out before. The long length might turn some off, but the way I look at it is there's nothing wrong with pausing, starting up again for later. That guy he just broke most people's brains, because that is true. Just pause it. Come back later. Like, that's one thing that is kind of a flawed argument when people leave a comment and it's like, seriously, 5 hours? Like, this is the final straw, damn you.
Yeah, like,
like, just pause
dude. It's like we're bending people's arms. No, you can't pause the show. You have to listen to the show in one sitting.
Yeah,
5
you don't
hours,
even
all
have to listen to the whole damn show if you don't want to.
No,
You
but
can
that's why
just
they're
listen to some of it and quit.
If you don't want to hear what we watch, you want to go straight to the main reviews, do that, and vice versa, or whatever.
God knows I fucking
it's all
hate doing
there.
those show notes, and I do them for you guys.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
So since our homie Slushy Man over here sent a nice screenshot that had 3 little reviews on it, I figured I could just read the other 2 as well. This one is from GBBSBF. Pure entertainment, 5 stars. Great show. Both the hosts have great chemistry with each other and delve into some interesting... Oh, wait, I reviewed that. I read that one last time. So that one was...
I was going to say, wow, that one sounds very similar to the other one.
Yeah, okay, so the previous email was from Canada, then I figured out. And then back in September, Godzilla... Dylan, if there's another person named Godzilla, I apologize, but I assume it's Dylan. This is easily the best podcast I've listened to. Very entertaining, informative, great chemistry between the hosts. I've listened to every episode possible and will continue to listen to every episode posted. Thank you, Dylan. You the man. Moving along here, we have Marco. And he says, well, I don't know what he said in Finnish, because he titled it in Finnish. I think, is that what he speaks, Finnish?
Yeah, he's from Finland.
Okay, but he wrote the review in English. So, almost as good as Exploding Heads podcast. These two guys... Wait a minute. This is Marco? Oh, what? That's messed up. These two guys have a great chemistry, and they share such a passion for horror movies, which makes the show a must for every horror fan around over the world. Great stuff. He definitely has to be doing that as a joke. Marco's been with us since fucking day before the show even started, right? He was with us back on Burial Grounds.
That's right. That shit's funny.
Okay. Then we have this is 7-0, and okay, he was the one with the okay, good stuff here. This is actually the 8th. This was after Slushy Man, so we have now 8 reviews from Canada, and I only have about 4 of them in my view. So whoever else did it, they're gonna have to send me a screenshot because I can't see it. Good stuff. 5 stars. Word up. Best horror podcast there is. Very knowledgeable and funny. Always a great listen. Thank you, 7-0.
7-0, yeah.
And the last one from the foreign land of foreigners, we have the homie. We have the homie Marnie. So Marnie.
Yeah.
From the land down under.
Yeah, our Australian listener.
The queen bee of body bags.
Yeah, yeah,
that's right.
Definitely. If you love horror, if you love your horror and want to learn more about what movies are out there, this is the podcast for you. Not only does 22 Shots have a great host, but they know what they're talking about. Love listening to the show and hearing what other people have to say about films. Marnie, Marnie's been I've been in contact with her for years. So awesome to see a review from her. And we actually just have 2 from the US iTunes. So we got 2 more since the last time we got one, which was November 1st. And both of these people have said that they have tried to leave reviews before and they weren't popping up. So it seems they've now finally popped up. I don't know what the delay was with that, but
it's probably because they had to review them before, and they just sometimes they take longer than other times, I think. Yeah, and that's like people that work for iTunes. I think they have to kind of scan them and shit. So.
But yeah. Anyway, this is Andy2Crazy76. This is the homie Andy Cripps, guest on the show before. Yes, y'all. 5 stars. Been listening since episode 1. Spent countless hours listening. And plenty LOL moments, including Vampircons, Gnome Alone, and uncalled for Texas Chainsaw references and etc. Also, time to get serious with epic debates on ratings such as Jack Frost and Blair Witch. Also, a great source for all the news and releases that people like me are too lazy to look up. So basically, I'm trying to say, if you like horror movies, this is the podcast for you. Damn, that was a hell of a review, Andy. You kind of threw in some in-jokes in there and stuff. We haven't mentioned VampireCon in a long time, so...
Yeah, VampireCon. That's an OG one, huh?
Yeah. Thanks, homie. You could tell he's been a long-time listener.
No mention of the boat jokes. Everything's better set on a boat.
I love how he mentions Jack Frost, so...
Fucking Jack Frost.
So our final review here is from Franz Mazur, and it says, "This horror review podcast is quite literally one of the very best out there. JP and Moods are likely my favorite podcasting duo. The way these two debate and discuss the films they go over, it's second to none. If you are browsing and looking around for horror review podcasts to check out, this one really ought to top your list. It's a show that starts off strong and just keeps getting better and better. Much love from the Pacific Northwest, Mr. Watson." The homie Mr. Watson left us.
Oh, it's Mr. Watson. Nice.
Listen, I love Mr. Watson. That dude is podcasting G right there.
We should send that screenshot to Rue Morgue magazine right there.
Yeah, we should send all of them. We should. Of them. Like, hey, dickheads, thank you for not leaving us, putting us on the podcast list or whatever. So, yeah, that is all the reviews. I hope listeners aren't too bored with that, honestly. It's just a bunch of praise for us. Listeners are probably like, what the fuck, man? Talk about therapists.
Maybe reading those will kind of, maybe that's the kick in the ass they need to leave their own so they can hear their own words spit on the 22 Shots next episode.
Yeah, and, right? Apologies for sucking dick while reading. That came out kind of wrong.
It's fucking hard to talk when you have
sucking
a cock
dick
in
at
your mouth.
reading.
It really is. Yeah, it's so hard to talk when you have a cock in your mouth.
So that wraps up the iTunes reviews. Please leave more, man. Love it.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you to everybody out there. That's awesome. We love that. Tooting our own horns. Great shit. All right, man. Let's get into some news.
All right. So if you did... Whoa, did I just fucking embody Jeremy?
You just did that.
All right.
We got some news, Jeremy?
All right. So if you want to follow 22 Shots of Moods and... I remember I get so mad at him.
Anyways. Nobody's fucking listening anyways. Remember that shit? Oh my god.
Dude, I listened to that the other day. It's still gold.
It's still one of the funniest moments ever in this show.
I used to get real mad at Jeremy. Like, I don't know if I ever told him, but I always used to get mad that when he would, do the plugs and stuff, he would say it so fast you couldn't even understand what he was saying. I was like, normally, the people that are caring to listen to this stuff, are very few, but the people that do stay to hear where you can check us out at, like, they probably actually want to hear where that is and not just...
Well, yeah, they want to understand what you're saying.
But, yeah. Anyway, moving into the news, we have a little bit of news. I'm sure that this made Mr. Watson pretty happy, but apparently the theatrical rights to the Vampire Chronicles, which is Anne Rice novels, have reverted back to her. So I don't know much about her. I don't know much about what she's done.
I thought that she didn't care anymore because she stopped writing horror novels and got reborn Christian or something. I don't know. She's just not into what she was doing before. So I thought that she didn't care about the rights anymore. But maybe she cares about the money. I don't know. But
honestly, I have no idea. But
that's really strange.
I do know Watson praised her quite a bit with her novels. So
yeah, her early novels are really good. But then she stopped writing horror novels because, like she got like all reborn and went through one of those phases in her life. Who knows? Maybe she's like not unborn anymore or reverted back to being normal. I don't know, but that's interesting, man. I don't know.
So these stories are Interview with the Vampire from 76, The Vampire Lestat from 85, The Queen of the Damned from 8. Oh, shit. Wait. Did I know that? I think I might have known that. So Interviewing with the Vampire and Queen of the Damned are in the same franchise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I knew that. The Tale of the Body Thief from 92 and Monarch the Devil from 95. So... never read a single one of those, but I hear nothing but good things. Anyway, so basically, this is a quote from her Facebook. She said, "The theatrical rights to the Vampire Chronicles are once again in my hands, free and clear. I could not be more excited about this. A television series of the highest quality is now my dream for Lestat, Louis, Armand, Maurice, and the entire tribe. In the new golden age of television, such a series is the way to let the entire story of the vampires unfold. My son Christopher Rice and I will be developing a pilot script and a detailed outline for an open-ended series, faithfully presenting Lestat's story as it's told through the books, complete with the many situations the readers expect to see. We'll likely begin with the vampire Lestat and move on from there. When we sit down and finally talk to the producers, we will have a fully realized vision of the project with Christopher as an executive producer at the helm. I will also be an executive producer all the way again. I cannot tell you how happy it makes me to be able to announce this. As many of you know, Universal Studios and Image Entertainment had optioned the series to develop motion pictures from it. And though we had the pleasure of working with many fine people in the connection with this plan, it did not work out. It is more than ever abundantly clear that television is where the vampires belong. Over the years, Jesus Christ, this is long. Over the years, you have all told me how much you want to see Game of Thrones style faithful rendering of this material and how much you want for the series to remain in my control. Well, I have heard you. I have always heard you. What you want is what I want. You, the readers, made these books a success before any movie was ever made based on them, and I will never forget that fact. Christopher and I will be posting many questions on the page for your input as the days to come. I am filled with optimism this morning about the future of my beloved Brat Prince, and better way to start off a new book tour. What better way to start off a new book tour? So that was Anne Rice's long...
So I guess she's back doing or caring about horror and vampires and shit, so...
Yeah,
I
never heard about her going Christian or whatever you said it was, so I have no idea. But anyway, that's something. I mean, I don't really know much about...
It actually makes sense that this would be like a TV series, because if the way the books
it sounds like an epic, so I would assume
it is. So. Well, there's a lot of like development and characters in these novels too that would really alternate like with TV, because and like if you're doing like feature films, like there's sort of like interesting characters that from the novels that they usually cut out of these like feature length versions of these films. With the TV, they could actually progress them and make them their own characters.
So it's going to be, TV's it's going to be like The Walking Dead of characters, pretty much. That's what we're going to get, man. So who knows?
After that, we have a little bit of update here. Who knows if it's true or not? But apparently, Paul T. Taylor, the latest person to wear the pinhead makeup, and this little article's coming from Bloody Disgusting, who found it on his Facebook, said the official date for Hellraiser Judgment is March 28th, 2017.
Wow, that's coming pretty fast.
Mark your calendars for the party from hell, is what he said. So, March 28th, 2017, so pretty much maybe April, we could do a Hellraiser show.
Well, and that'll be what? That's the 10th film in the franchise. Shit, is that a two-parter? Is that a two-parter or is that a single one? Because that's 10. We're in double digits now, man. That's theoretically the biggest one.
What did we do? 9? We did 9 in 1, which was Children of the Corn.
Oh no, I guess we did Halloween.
No, that was a two-parter, dude.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying that was a two-parter, but I'm just saying for 10 films. But yeah, we did 9 Children of the Corn films in one show.
Yeah, I think anything over 9 is pushing it, so that would probably be a two-parter.
Hellraiser.
Yeah, two-parter.
I'd like to see the numbers on those, how well the first part does, because it contains part 1, 2, and 3, versus the second half, which is like 6 through 10.
Yeah.
Who knows, man? Maybe there's people out there that are like us and would be intrigued to hear about, people's thoughts on those later films, because I don't know. That's why I posted that poll the other day. I was just curious to see how it would go. Like, do you prefer us to, review good films, bad films, or films you haven't seen and stuff? And it's kind of a mixed bag.
It was mainly obscure, though, right? But then you look at a previous poll that happened literally within the same week, and every single one of the 3 possible films are mainstream Christmas titles.
And this is exactly why I posted this, is because of that poll. No shit, man. I was sitting at work, I was waiting for airmail, and I was fucking sitting there, and I was like, I'm going to post this based off of that Christmas poll. And it's kind of interesting how the results came back, and I'm like, really? Obscure, eh? Oh.
Yeah.
That's not how this poll turned out. I mean, shit, man. It should have been fucking elves and, I don't know, Sheeton. I don't know what the other choices were, but we should be elves right now. That'd
be the greatest show ever. Elves, Sheeton, and Saint.
That'd be good, man. It's good, but yeah.
So, yeah, Hellraiser, Judgment. So if we did that, it would probably be a 2-part episode, or, I mean, we could record it in 2 segments. Take a week off or whatever and record it in 2 segments and edit it into 1 segment. I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. We're quite a ways off now.
I mean, it's going to be one of those shows where we say, hey, guys, how's it going? Okay, part 1, and then read a synopsis. So
we haven't done a show like that in a while.
I think we did that with Children of the Corn. Like, we had like a brief intro, and didn't we just get right into it? Because there was 9 films to cover.
You have to.
Yeah.
So moving on here, we have a little bit of sort of a announcement thing. I noticed this myself because I don't know if you guys knew, but I was trying to figure out how I was going to watch the films for this week, and I knew that Shudder, the streaming service, had a lot of Italian cinema, some Blue Underground titles that were available for streaming. So I went and did another free trial of Shudder, and that's how I watched Torso.
Doesn't Full Moon have a lot of the Blue Underground titles on there too, on their streaming service?
Yeah,
they do.
That's interesting.
So when I was watching Shudder, I noticed that one of the things that it was like an article or not like an article, but like kind of like an ad on the Shudder website that announced that Rob Zombie's 31 was going to be landing exclusively on Shudder, which is pretty interesting, right? Because that's a pretty big movie for Shudder to be getting that for its streaming service, even though I've seen it and other people have seen it, and a lot of people that agree with me that it's very disappointing and stuff. There's still a lot of mainstream horror fans that have not seen the film yet and are waiting for it. So that could definitely throw up some awesome numbers for the Shudder subscription base. But so I was just on Shudder again. This is my second trial now, and I pretty much have the same issues with it. Like, it has a decent lineup of films, stuff that you're not getting on Netflix. That's one positive about Shudder. Some streaming services have the same exact shit you're getting on Netflix, except for less of it. Shudder is very different. There's films that are not on Netflix. A lot of Italian horror, a lot of just foreign horror. They have nice little setups where it's like you can search by categories and like, oh, this is Joe Dante's top 5 films that are on Shudder or something. You can watch, and it has a little collection of Joe Dante's films that he recommends, and there's neat stuff like that. And they even have their own like podcast on there that you can listen to. But I think it's actually like a narrative podcast. Like it's like a like radio, like talk, like storytelling radio type shit. You know what I mean? Like stories. And
weird.
It has a really cool feature that I actually really like. It's called Shudder TV, and basically it just plays the movies that are on Shudder in a 24 hours a day type of marathon where and you don't know what's next. So it's just like it was kind of neat I turned it on once when I was going to sleep, and it was like Grizzly, and it's like you're just flipping through the TV essentially. It's just a random horror movie from the thing, and it's kind of like negates not knowing what to put on. Now, if they can get like a horror host or something to be in between those, I think that would really, really, really up like Shudder's value, like what you get out of it, because that would be really neat. Or even some other like original type of maybe add like fan commentaries to it or something. Hire a couple of people up who are funny and entertaining, Mystery Science Theater 3000 style. You know what I mean?
There's so many things you can do with that.
Yeah.
There's so much things. Yeah. That's cool.
And they have, like, when you sign in, you have a username. Like, maybe open up a chat. Like, have a chat. Like, make it more of a social type thing instead of just a streaming service. I think there's a lot of cool things that you can do with Shudder. But the coolest thing about Shudder, and I'll get to that in a second, but final thing about Shudder that I think they should improve on, it's not on enough devices, right? It was on my phone and my PC. Couldn't get it on the Xbox, couldn't get it on the smart TV, couldn't get it on a Kindle. It was I couldn't even get it on my this other tablet that I have too. So it was a little it's not on, maybe it was the Kindle. Yeah, so it's not on the Kindle, the Xbox, the PlayStation, or the smart TV that I tried on. So it's only on my phone and the PC, which is kind of annoying, right? It needs to be on more devices than that. Xbox is the big one for me because that's what I mostly use to stream, and that's a big negative. Also, it is a little glitchy. Like on my phone, it doesn't work very well. Like it'll just restart sometimes when I'm watching something, and then on the computer, when I hit play, it like if my window is full screen, like I can't. It like cuts off the page. It's like real awkward, and I have to go unfull screen to like bring it back into full screen. It's like very hard to explain, but it basically it's a little buggy, and I feel like they should have that shit worked out since it's like full launch now. It's no longer in the beta phase.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing for me. But besides that, it is only $4.99 a month, which
that's not a bad price.
Is a very good deal. Moods, I don't know if it's available in Canada. You should look into that and report back next week or next show.
Yeah, I can do that. Well, I just actually clicked onto it. I'm not 100% sure if it's available to stream. I mean, it lets me go to the website here. I'd have to fill out my free trial or whatever. But what did you say? It's $4.99 down there?
Yes.
So it doesn't actually tell me. So it's probably like $40 here. But no, I will do that actually. Yeah, I'll see if I can set up a free trial and I'll check it out and do a little reporting back. For sure.
All right, cool. And if you can get it, I expect a full review too. I expect you to watch a couple things, check it out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I might as well since we have the week off anyways. It's like the perfect time to really do it. So
yeah, and also, you know what? You might want to just hang on to it until 31 comes out so you can see it.
It's actually kind of funny about that. I threw on The Purge 3 the other night. Me and the wife were gonna watch it, and I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and I could hear the trailers playing, right? Mm-hmm. So I went to the bathroom and I went upstairs and grabbed something. And I came downstairs just as the trailer for 31 was ending. Like, it just ended. And she's like, oh, that movie looks really good. It was like so funny. She's like, have you seen that one yet? I'm like, no, I still haven't seen it. And I like just caught like the last 2 seconds. That was the first clips I've seen of 31.
All right.
Of all time. So it was like just one little quick thing, but yeah, I thought that was kind of funny that she said that.
31.
Like, well, the consensus is it's not the greatest film. She's like, really? That's crazy.
31 will be available December 20th on the Shudder network, though. So there's that. So after that, we have just a little sort of update on Tremors 6. Mm-hmm. Recently, Michael Gross tweeted or Facebooked out that he was growing his Burt Gummer mustache because production's starting up soon. So that's happening.
Nice.
That's good shit, man.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Gonna make our franchise void. It's all void.
It is like our Leprechaun franchise and like our Children of the Corn franchise and
Children of the Corn still. Isn't Children of the Corn still good?
No,
they're making a new one
coming out in 2017.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, shit. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so
I mean, we can probably.
They're gonna make a new Halloween movie next.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
I think that a lot of them are safe though. Like Silent Night, Deadly Knife is safe for now. Sleepaway Camp is safe. Final Destination, I hear rumblings of a new one.
Yeah, I heard about that too. So yeah, I mean, which is kind of exciting, man. I just don't understand what took them so long to even kind of get that going. Mm-hmm. These films were, it had a nice little pace going with the releases and stuff. So no, the Howling will definitely be safe. There's no way that they're ever making another Halloween film after, making 7 really bad sequels. Well, I mean, the second Halloween film is fun, but it's the only franchise out there that only legitimately has one good film. That's pathetic.
Oh yeah,
there's 8 films in that franchise
that has one good film that has over 4 films in the franchise.
Yes, 8 film franchise and legitimately one good film, and then part 2 is just. It is what it is. How you classify it. It's so
not
bad.
A good
it's good.
Movie,
it's fun.
But it's
not good, but it's fun.
I didn't even really like it that much, though, to be honest. So, anyway,
I love the music in that film.
Anyway, we have 2 more little pieces of news, and then that's it for the news. We got Vestron video number 7 and number 6. So number 6 and number 7. We have.
Did you feel compelled to do that backwards?
No, I just opened the pages backwards.
Awesome.
So number 6, if you guys don't know, Vestron Video label is the collector series put out by Lionsgate. It made a huge splash when they announced some of those films that were in the legendary 8-packs that came out in the dump bins a few years ago. Those films included Return of the Living Dead 3, Blood Diner, Chopping Mall, Waxwork 1 and 2, and Chud 2. And now we're seeing a couple more films get announced. The first one, which will be the 6th release, is The Lair of the White Worm.
Yes.
I honestly have never even heard of this film. I don't know what it is. The cover looks retarded to me. Save this one for me because it looks very bad.
It's a good film.
It's actually really good.
Really?
Yeah, I reviewed it in my 88 series.
Yeah, it's directed by Ken Russell. It's really odd and bizarre if you've ever seen any of Ken Russell's work before.
What
if you're familiar with
him.
He directed Crimes and Punishment. You reviewed that one?
Crimes of Passion. I did review that one.
He directed Gothic, which is a really
Altered
good
States?
uncrated. Yep.
Okay, so I've seen one of his films. Okay, I really like Crimes of Passion, so okay, but you gotta admit, dude, if you didn't know that this film was good and you've seen that cover, come on, that cover looks awful.
Yeah, well, I thought the same thing when I saw the cover. I was like, that doesn't really do the film much justice, but yeah,
it's kind of honestly they don't spoil like what's going on in the film too, because then it's an even better watch for.
I'm just saying, it looks like a public access TV show. Like a kids show from like the 90s.
It's like a total
late 80s.
Yeah, honestly, looks pretty bad.
Like with the swirls in the background, that looks like some shit that would be on like PBS or something.
One thing I do remember saying in my review about this film was, I actually liked Hugh Grant in this film. I can't believe I'm saying that. Something on those lines, anyways, because Hugh Grant's in this one. But it's a good film. I think going into it, knowing very little about it is probably a better thing. Strange,
because I'm not even reading a synopsis.
But you know, Ken Russell also did The Devils too, man, which is just such a fucking amazing film.
And he did Tommy the musical, which was like an acid bath mindfuck.
Yeah, I've never seen that one before. But
really?
The Devils is just insane.
Yeah.
I've talked about that film
for special features. We have an audio commentary with director Ken Russell, an audio commentary with Lee C. Russell, in conversation with film historian Matthew Milia. Speaking of which, anytime I see a commentary that has a film historian on it, I instantly am more interested in watching that commentary. I think that film historians definitely add a nice element to, like, they're just smarter than me.
Well, they usually get them.
They're smarter.
Well, they usually have film historians on films like that because, you know, the film itself is interesting, and obviously these guys have some pretty unique insight. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they're not gonna, you know, go grab a film historian for fucking, I don't know, just some random shitty film. This one, it's got some pretty good layers to it, man.
Okay.
Pun intended.
It's based off a story by Bram Stoker too.
Oh, cool.
So it makes sense that they would actually bring in someone that could kind of dissect the film a little more than the average person. So that's cool.
Yeah, and it has a couple featurettes here. It has Worm Food, The Effects of Lair the White Worm. It has Cutting for Ken, an interview with editor Peter Davies, and Mary, an interview with actress Sammy Davis. And also it has Trailers from Hell, featuring an introduction and commentary with producer Dan Ireland. So I'm not sure exactly what that is. Trailers from Hell? Is that like a Horrors Hall of Grounds thing for trailers or something?
I'm not sure.
I'm not 100% sure, but I have a compilation. I think it's actually titled Trailers from Hell, which is
what I was kind of thinking about.
I don't think it would be the same one, though. That would be really strange.
Well,
I don't know.
You know, little breaking news here. There is a Trailers from Hell website, which I just clicked on, and I'm seeing what it is. So it looks like there's an ad for Shudder. It looks like they just uploaded trailers. It came from the blog, which has some DVD reviews and stuff. So I'm not exactly sure if this is connected, but anyway, moving along here, our second announcement was the one that I was pretty excited about, and that is the 7th Vestron title, and that is Parents, the 1986, 7?
Something like that, yeah. Awesome. I need a third copy of that. Got it on VHS and DVD, so why not?
You know what? I had it on DVD, and when I bought it on DVD, I was so pumped, and then I just never got around to watching it. Never in history. So now I'm going to end up having it on Blu-ray, and literally bought it on DVD for the movie, and just never got to it. So
I'm excited to upgrade this one because I have it in that 6 movie pack.
Yeah, that's how I have it as well. The Parents is a film that I actually seen on Monster Vision as a kid. And for years, I didn't remember what the movie was called. Had no idea. This was back in the day where there was like not really a guide, so you couldn't see what was on TV. You had to like go. There actually used to be a channel. All the kids out there, there used to be a channel dedicated to telling you what was on TV. Like it was like Channel 5 for me. You get a Channel 5, and it
was like Channel 8 for me.
It had this scrolling bar of like what's on TV.
TV
you had to wait like
channel.
65 seconds for it to cycle around.
I remember that shit, man.
So,
remember they started putting infomercials on it too.
Oh yeah. They
commercials on the
putting
commercial
TV
channel.
Episodes on it. I remember watching Punk'd on there.
Yeah, it's that
Really?
70s show. Yeah,
Travis Barker getting all mad.
That's fun.
But yeah, so I remembered watching it, didn't know the name of it. Years later, somebody told me what it was when I explained to him about it. And basically, this one is one that I've always wanted to revisit. Whether it'll hold up from my childhood memory of like 1997 or 96 or whatever, who knows. But This one has an audio commentary with director Bob Balaban and producer Bonnie
Balaban.
Isolated score selections, audio interview with composer Jonathan Elias. Featurettes, there's 4 of them. Leftovers to Be with screenwriter Christopher Hawthorne. Mother's Day with actress Mary Beth Hurt. Inside Out with director of photography Robin Vigion. Vintage Tales with decorative consultant Yolanda Kumo. Theatrical trailer, radio spots, still gallery. So I'd like to see that they're still putting a solid amount of features on these Vestron titles. The numbers look good. It's going to look great on the shelf together. So hopefully, the only complaints I'm hearing about them is the eco cases.
Yeah, they didn't have that for the Waxwork edition. That one felt like a brick. But yeah, the eco cases are kind of a... I don't I hate eco cases because it's just there's that potential there of your artwork going through that shitty case, which I'm sure it's happened to you guys. You guys probably have a Blu-ray in your collection that has been, forever altered by those shitty fucking eco cases. I know I have a couple. I hate that shit.
Wait,
you open the package in the mail and it's fucking, what's that?
What'd you say?
I said altered.
I've only had one issue ever with an eco case, and I don't even blame it on the eco case because I feel like I bought it used, and I just feel like it was like that already.
Oh man, I've had a couple of packages come in the mail, and it's just like the thing's kind of poked through.
Poke through, like holes in them and shit.
Yeah, like that's weak.
Like I've had my Hills Run Red, the paper where like the little eco like cutouts are, the paper is like ripped through there. But that like I said, I bought it used, so I don't even know if it was the eco case or the guy who had it. But I've actually said this on the post. I've had more issues with Arrow than eco cases. Yeah. I've had more Arrow cases break on me than eco cases.
It's crazy. I have like like a shit ton Arrow. I don't have one broken Arrow case.
I have
except
3.
for one that Turi sent me. It looked like someone actually jumped up and down on the case. That's
it looks like I sat on it.
Yeah, it was unbelievable, man. It was just flat. It was crazy.
Actually, my copy of, I think, Slugs came broken.
What the fuck? That's so crazy.
So, I don't think Arrow cases are that good, man. I really don't. Like, they seem to break easy. For me.
That's crazy. It's so weird because I don't have any that are broken, and I've made a lot of orders right from Arrow. They package their shit well too, man.
Maybe because I've never ordered from Arrow US. I mean UK, so maybe that's the difference.
I didn't even know you could order from Arrow US.
I mean, well,
I thought that was Amazon.
Canada.
You could order from
Amazon.
Amazon, yeah.
Speaking of that, where the hell is that website? It's ridiculous. It's got to be like the number one question that people ask them on a daily basis. Like, where is the American site for Arrow? I mean, you guys have been launched for years. I mean, what's going on here? So,
anyway, that wraps up the news.
Sweet shit. All right, so let's get into the DVD and Blu-ray releases for. What I'm gonna start doing here now, because I had this kind of brain idea. I'm having a brain fart right now. But anyways, I was thinking about it, and since we've been recording the podcast on Sundays and posting on Wednesday, which is technically the day after the new releases come out, it seems like they're being posted late. It just seems like they're an afterthought. It's like the shit came out yesterday. Why the fuck are we hearing about this now? Mm-hmm. So I figured instead of doing it a day past, let's do the releases for the week that is actually coming up. So when this gets posted on Wednesday, it'll actually be the releases for December 6th. But in the light of that right there, I'm actually going to tell you a couple releases that are actually coming out this Tuesday, because there's like 3 notable ones and that's it. I'll just name them off really quick. First off, we got Don't Breathe is coming out November 29th. We've talked about Don't Breathe many times. I think we kind of did a mini review of it last show, didn't we? Or something like that. Then from Raro Video, we got Sacrifice, the Blu-ray Sacrifice from Umberto Lenzi. Who knows? Maybe we'll cover that next year. I don't know. Also known as Man from Deep River. Kind of the film that started off the cannibal genre. And we have this brand new one called The Demolisher, and it, in a way, looks like a like a cop.
Yeah, it's like a revenge film.
Yeah, so it's something like that. So I don't know. It looks kind of cool. I heard it's not really the greatest, but I don't know.
It's from the director of In the House of Flies, and
yeah, that's which I like that movie. I like that movie. That was sweet. So, but yeah, I thought I would mention those because it was really quick. But getting into the releases for December 6th, and there actually seems to be quite a few of them. First up here from Scream Factory, part of their IFC Midnight line, we got the Devil's Dolls. I thought this was probably the one that I was kind of like the least, interested in, I would say. They seem to have some interesting titles, which we'll get to here in a minute. But the Devil's Dolls. Next up here from who's actually putting this out? The 30th anniversary of Henry. I can't click on it.
It's Dark Sky.
Dark Sky.
It is actually Dark Sky. Okay, I was just wondering if they retain the rights to it. But so we're getting like a brand new transfer, like kind of like a new thing for Henry, which is kind of cool. I gotta say, man, I don't really care for this.
Blu-ray?
Yeah, Dark Sky actually put on Blu-ray. Okay. And I think this is like a new 4K transfer or something. But I gotta say, man,
I don't read the website. I've been posting every update on that.
I do, but I don't. I'm not like I'm so fucking busy. But I gotta say, man, I'm not a big fan of this artwork at all. If this is the actual cover to it, really don't care for it too much. But whatever. You guys know about the film. And then next up here we got the remastered version of Phantasm, which I gotta say, man, I'm really stoked. And I got a feeling that lots of us are gonna end up buying this in Ravager, and then they're gonna announce the box set, and then we're gonna buy it again. Mm-hmm. Is that what's gonna happen here?
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't buy. Honestly, listen. I'm probably not supposed to say this, considering like they send me review copies for these, but I wouldn't buy them, man. Like I would wait on the box set. Like I obviously haven't seen them yet or reviewed them yet, but just based off of my general opinion, I say wait for the box set.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, I mean, we know that this box set is coming out eventually, and I mean, we don't know that 100% sure. I mean, I'm sure they still got to figure out something. Well, USA still has to figure out something with Scream Factory, I'm assuming. Because doesn't Scream Factory still have the rights to Part 2? So,
I don't know.
But I imagine that this box set is probably going to drop. But I don't know, man. If you can't wait, then grab.
I mean, they're not that expensive. So if you can buy Phantasm remastered for $18. And you can watch it, and then when the box set comes out, you can sell it for $10. You only lost $8 on it or whatever. I mean,
that's right. These ones
just think of it as you went and seen a fucking movie, which cost $12. So
yeah.
And of course, the remastered version of Phantasm is coming out. You can't have that without Phantasm Ravager. Yeah, I mean. The consensus is not really the great. I haven't really heard too many people say it was like, wow.
I feel like the only people that are giving it props are people who are not Phantasm fans. Like,
that's
or
probably
not
that's
the
probably a good assessment.
Fans, like that are a fan of the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I liked it. Like I had a decent time watching it, but it is nowhere near the other 4 films. Mm-hmm. It's just not. And it's in that regard, it's disappointing. Does disappointing mean it's a terrible movie? No, disappointing just means my personal excitement for the film.
Exactly.
But
I was very convinced that this was going to happen, anyways. Because this film is coming a lot of years after the last one, and it's not Coscarelli, directing. I mean, there's all these kind of elements that are already making you kind of go, this probably might feel a lot different, and that seems to be
everybody always gave props to Phantasm, the original, because Coscarelli was like, yeah, we filmed it on the weekend over like a 2.5 year period, like it was just me and my buds making a movie, and everybody like gives that props, like, because it's awesome that they did that. Well, in this film they did the same thing, but it feels like they did that, so like that's not what, you don't give them props for that.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, I still want to check it out, though.
No, I'm actually looking forward to checking it out. I mean, I have to see it. I love Phantasm, the franchise, so You know, it's inevitable. Next up here from Arrow, we got Pulse. This is the... What year did this Pulse film come out?
This actually got
2002.
pushed back.
What the fuck is that?
What?
This got pushed back till January.
It got pushed back till January? Oh, it did actually.
Why?
It's actually saying that too. I didn't even hear that got pushed back because people are already reviewing copies.
Yeah, I already have a copy.
Really?
Yeah, I actually seen a bunch of reviews for this, so that's really I didn't realize it got pushed. They
Maybe
sent
I
out
got a
review
rare
copies.
copy.
They sent out review copies and they got pushed back. That's fucking strange.
Yeah, because it was on the February thing of releases that's coming on February or January.
Well,
So why would they already send out copies?
Push the shit back because Arrow has been having it. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I've been getting my Arrows like after release date, and I almost feel like it's not even worth me reviewing because 8 people have a review up already, and it's annoying. But yeah, this one. So I'm glad they pushed this back. Now I have time to review it, and yeah, to answer your question, it came out in 2002, dummy.
Oh yeah, that's right. It did for some weird reason? I think I even might have said,
Pulse.
Yeah, I think I even mentioned that too. I always think this movie came out in 2001.
No. I was thinking of Dark Water, dude. I didn't get a copy of this. I was thinking of Dark Water. I didn't even know Pulse was coming out.
Yeah. We knew Pulse was coming out. We were talking about it before, but I don't know when Pulse. I can't remember exactly, but anyways, I guess I got pushed back, so whatever. It is what it is. This next one right here, yeah, Arrow does that from time to time. Yeah, I don't know, but this one right here, man, actually kind of made me laugh. So I can talk about it. It's called The Call Up. It's getting released by Lionsgate, and it looks like it's one of these video game type virtual reality, state of the art virtual reality video game type film.
Really?
Hmm.
Did you guys ever see that one that came out in the early 2000s, Stay Alive?
Yeah.
I don't mind Stay Alive.
I didn't mind it. It could have been a lot better. Like, I liked the premise of it, and there was some like bad moments in the film, but I actually didn't mind the film though.
I didn't mind it either. It was good. It was a decent watch. It's not.
I think that's kind of what this one is. It's like a video game type thing. I don't know. And then of course we have Dead Rising Endgame. What the fuck?
Another video game movie.
Exactly. I'm like, how random is that? This one's released by Sony. I don't know. I don't really know much about Dead Rising, to be honest.
Oh, the games are like you just beat the shit out of a bunch of zombies in certain areas, make your own weapons and stuff.
Well, that sounds all right. Next up here from Sony, we got a film called Jack Goes Home. The cover art is fucking tripping me out too. The way the hands are over the eye. I don't know. It's fucking weird. It doesn't really look that great, but I don't know.
Who knows?
Exactly. Then we got another one here from Lionsgate. Lionsgate and Sony, man, pumping out all these kind of straight to DVD films. This one's called The Remains. Looks very, very generic. Very, very generic. Yeah. But this one right here, I was actually kind of intrigued that 20th Century Fox is releasing this, the complete first season of Screen Queens. And 20th Century Fox putting this out. It's interesting.
Well, it's a Fox show.
Oh, is that who does the show?
Yeah, Fox.
Oh, fuck. I had no idea, man. I'm like, I barely watch TV, man. Shit. I did not know that was on fucking Fox. Crazy, man. Because I didn't think Fox produced any good TV shows anymore. Because aren't they just notorious for producing like tons of shit? So, yeah, whatever. Have you seen it?
I've seen a few episodes. I didn't mind it.
That's interesting. Man, I can't believe that Fox did that because I've heard lots of good things about it, and I just assumed that, it was definitely not Fox. But you know how it is. Another one here from Lionsgate, and this one is called Trash Fire. I'm not 100% sure if it's full-blown horror. I mean, it definitely looks like it, but it's got such a terrible cover, man. Oh, it's just so bad. So bad. Look at Lionsgate and Sony just pumping out shit. It's crazy.
They're like pulling Wild Eyes right now.
I know. That's kind of funny, right? Considering there hasn't been a lot of Wild Eye releases as of recently. Strange, because they were pumping them out like left and right. And then we got one here from Anchor Bay. Anchor Bay, still around. Every once in a while, putting out something, and it's called The Unspoken. It's just like, man, these movies, man, come on. From the producer of Insidious and the executive producer of The Devil Inside and Paranormal Activity.
I love the ones that say like
The
from one
producer and executive producers. Like, who gives a fuck, man?
I love the ones that say like from one producer of Insidious. Like
one producer, exactly.
fucking hilarious.
And I think that's actually going to do it for the releases. Unless you guys have any more that are coming. I know that there's more films coming out.
Well, I know Bloodshot came out last week, and we didn't mention that one last show.
Oh yeah, Bloodshot. I know there's a film called Siren that's coming out. Have you guys heard about this one? It's
a VHS spinoff
segment. Yeah,
that's what it is.
Expanded into like a whole short.
Okay. Yeah. So apparently
but it's not just a remake of that segment. It's
it's like a prequel.
Origins.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's that's right. Okay, that one. It's the wedding day one.
No.
It's cool.
What? The what?
It says 1 week before his big wedding day, Jonah and his
It's the one with. It's the fucking best one in all of the VHS movies.
It's the first segment in the first VHS movie.
It's Amateur Night.
I like you. The chick.
That's the one that they made? That's the one that they made?
Yeah, the only one that had potential. That's definitely the best segment in all 3 VHS movies.
I'm not sure. I think the cult one's...
I don't think so, man.
The cult one's not scary, though.
I love that. I love the last 2 segments in VHS 2. I think those are probably my 2 favorite ones, to be honest. I love that alien one, man. I thought that one was really good.
Yeah, it's good. Not scary. Not scary like the VHS
I was scared
Siren one.
Well, I guess it all depends on personal preference on what's scary and what isn't scary.
The Amateur Night one actually is, like, it's scary. I showed it to 3 people. All 3 people said that it was scary.
Then this is official. 3 people, and this is an official stat now.
Right? You dickheads were not scared by any of them. Therefore, I win by default.
Oh man, I thought the fucking alien one.
I was scared of the cult one.
The alien one, I thought was creepy as shit, man. That thing was creepy, man. I don't know. I thought it was creepy.
No, they're all good. But anyway,
VHS 3? No.
So what is? I guess are you doing 2 releases of the week? Release of the weeks.
Releases?
Yeah, I don't know. Nah, I'll just do it for December 6th, I guess.
Why, pussy?
Well, I guess I could. I guess so, right? So what do we have for? Yeah, October. Jesus Christ, November 29th. So I got 3 films to choose from: Don't Breathe, Sacrifice, and Demolition. Well, shit, man, I haven't seen one of them, and the other 2 are good. I would probably say, just based on my own experience, I would say probably pick up Sacrifice by Umberto Lenzi. But everybody and their dog is going to go out and pick out Don't Breathe anyway, so it's probably going to be this year's hot seller. So, but I'm going to go with Man from Deep River for that week right there. And, I'm kind of, this one right here I'm really kind of torn on because of like Phantasm and Phantasm Ravager. I can't highly recommend just picking up the solo release. I mean, if you're a massive fan, but if you already know that they're going to be releasing a box set, I mean, what's the point? Unless you want these for individual artworks. I don't know. I guess it depends on what kind of movie collector you are.
Yeah.
Personally, I love box sets. I mean, I've been waiting a long time to see a Phantasm box set get released in Region 1 anyways.
How are you guys on that cover art?
For the Phantasm? It's okay. It's all right. I don't really care for it.
It's all right.
I actually think I'm almost like a pass on it because like it's Phantasm and it's cool because it has like all the stuff on it. But I don't like the cartoon shell shade like pop art look. Like I actually hate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, it's it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it is representative of the
film.
So But, for this week, I am probably going to straight up recommend getting Henry from Dark Sky Films. I mean, I personally really love the film, and this is like a brand new transfer of the film and shit, so... But again, don't recommend the cover art. The cover art
I don't think that's the actual cover art.
I hope it isn't, actually, because, wow. That's kind of atrocious. It's just too close. It's just too close, man. But yeah, no, I'll go with Henry, the brand new from Dark Sky Films.
86.
Yeah.
Yes, 1986, and Sacrifice. So, pick up those ones. Pick up those. And that is going to do it for the DVD and Blu-ray releases for 2 weeks right there. Moving along into voicemails and questions. I'm pretty sure that we got some lined up here.
We have
JP?
We have just a single question.
Damn!
There was, I think, 2 voicemails that I didn't get to this week. We'll handle them when they get them. Usually, sometimes we like to let them build up a little bit, so we have a couple or something like that. So, we have one from James Cox, and is this the one from
Finland?
Finland. Okay. He says, "Hey gents, as always, I enjoyed the last pod. It's a great listening to all of your thoughts because you have such different point of views, especially with these Italian movies. It makes it really interesting. Anyway, I have a suggestion for a future pod. Seeing as the poll feature on the Facebook is so popular at the moment, which it is, it definitely is, I thought I'd use it. The idea is to pick a film for each of you from the year of your birth, but we, the Facebook group, choose it. I thought this would be interesting because what I'd want Moods or Derek to review would be very different to what I'd want review for JP. All 3 would be different. Anyway, I know you have a lot of future shows planned out. This is just another suggestion. Keep up the good work. Chars." And pretty interesting idea. Let's see.
Actually,
when were you born, Moods? 81?
1980.
80? Derek, when were you born?
86.
So 86. Like, obviously you fucks got like I'm gonna get Leprechaun. I'm born in 91, which I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the 90s sucked for horror movies. Did you guys know this? So like some of the stuff, like People Under the Stairs, Child's Play 3,
as a whole, they
Elm
suck.
Street. I mean,
but there is good films.
There's decent ones. Like there's some okay ones from 91, I guess, but
there's good films in every year of the 90s. It's just when you look at the 90s as a whole, it's not comparative.
Well, even when
to
you look at 91
70s,
as a whole, it's terrible. Like,
so they want us to do it like in the What We Watch segment or the featured review?
It's the show.
I don't know.
The featured reviews.
I mean, the fucking Howling 6 on here, man. Jesus.
For 91?
We got like fucking Necromantic 2.
Silent Night, Deadly Night 5.
Oh, Begotten came out in 91. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so, that's kind of an interesting idea. It would be a weird mix of movies. I mean, I would be in favor of doing it for what we watched. Just because, listen, when some of you guys mention shows, and do you know what I think of instantly? I don't think about how the show goes or how the conversations go. My mind instantly snaps the thumbnails. That's what I think of first. And when I think of putting like Child's Play 3 with like fucking The Fly and like
Class of
Nukem High, like I just can't find a way to make that thumbnail work. So
I mean, such a strange show, man. Child's Play 3, Freddy's Dead.
Yeah.
and like The Omen 4. Oh my god. That is just like a mess of films, man. Which would never happen because I mean, we're gonna eventually cover those 3 franchises, right? I mean, come on. We have to do them.
Yeah.
So,
but I like where your head's at. Keep sending in ideas. That's something that we could definitely probably do that for what we watched. Let the Facebook group pick a movie for the year of our birth,
Yeah, it's like a themed what we watched. I don't really think we've ever done that before. That's cool.
So hey, throw it up on the Facebook page and we'll get to it when we get to it. But James, I'm putting you in charge of that. That is the questions.
Wow, that was really fast. 91 has a lot of really terrible... Or it has a lot of sequels. It just has a lot of... It has like... I'm just looking at this quickly, and it's like Silent Night, Deadly Night 5 came out that year, Trancers 2, Scanners 2, which is a piece of shit.
No, Scanners
Puppet Master
cool.
2. No, it's not. Puppet Master 2 is actually kind of fun.
Never seen it.
2. Like, there's just so many sequels. Like, the more notable films in here are sequels. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
It's 976 Evil 2, directed by Jim Warnowski, of course, from Chopping Mall fame.
Yep.
That's good shit, man. But, yeah, 91 comparatively to 86, which... Ironically enough, we're going to be doing a show on a top 10 show in 1986. So that's a good year, man. There's a lot of fucking films.
I actually just reviewed a film from 86 on Body Bags today. Necropolis.
You did, actually, yeah. I watched Necropolis actually a couple weeks back. It's trashy fun.
Oh, yeah.
So that wraps up the questions.
All right, so I don't think we have any knowledge this week.
Nope.
And, morbid fact, I am actually going to save for a future episode, which will be the Christmas episode. So the morbid fact for this week will just be fuck Rue Morgue again.
Fuck Rue Morgue. Fuck you.
Ever since Dave ruined it for me, man. Fucking Dave.
I know. Dave pulled a My Cousin Vinny move, like, you know what I learned?
Yeah, true that, right?
Him and his Joe Pesci.
Ah, shit. Fucking Dave. Who knows? Who knows, man? But no, it'll be coming back. I've got one for, the Christmas show, so. But anyways, that is going to conclude Mood Swings. And, let's get into the featured reviews. You guys want to do that?
Yes, absolutely. This is the grand finale of Italian Horror Month.
I know, man. It's like it's so sad. It's been very satisfying throughout this whole month as usual. But when all good things come to an end, it's kind of sad.
It is.
I've had a lot of fun with this month. Just revisiting most of these. Well, I shouldn't say most of these. All these films. All these films were not first time watches for me, but yeah, man. I
feel like this month's Italian Horror Month versus last year's Italian Horror Month.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't know which one I enjoyed more. Like, if you take week 1 from last year and week 1 from this year, I like this year's better. Argento versus Argento. This Argento trilogy is better. The Fulci, if we matched up Fulci, last year's was better to me. Gates of Hell is really good, and these films that we reviewed this year, good as well. 2 of them I really, 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 really dug. The other one was decent. And then, but I loved Sauvé, and I loved Bava, but I think I would give the nod to Sauvé.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that if I matched up Mario Bava versus Sergio Martino, that would be an interesting. So I don't know. It's both of them are really good. Both the lineups.
Oh, just tons of good shows.
Yeah.
I mean, the lineups of movies pound for pound is very.
The Fulci show was pretty good for me because there was a little debate with us, with like zombie and stuff. So it was really interesting to hear like our different views of certain things about that film and just in the films in general that we talked about during that episode.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the one film I knew that I thought would be all over the place was Cat in the Brain. Mm-hmm. Just based on like how the film is and stuff, and it pretty much kind of went, I more or less the way I kind of thought it was going to. But it's such a weird film. It's such a strange film. So definitely the oddball out of the 2 years of Fulci, that's for sure. But
plus Brandon just mixing characters from films up, and
that was funny.
He's confusing everybody with that shit. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? The fuck?
Who the fuck's Dr. Egon?
Yeah. All right, so let's get into this. So of course, week 4 here on Italian Month, and we're going to be talking about Sergio Martino.
Yes.
A director that I personally really, really love. And, when you talk about, very notable Italian directors, Martino's name doesn't come up a lot. I think it's coming up a little bit more now that his films are getting re-released. Mostly notably, like Your Vice's Locked Room and Only I Have the Key, which is going to be the first film up tonight. With the re-release of that film, that's been, getting a lot of buzz, and more people have been, I guess, almost introduced to Sergio Martino in a sense. I know some people have seen his films before. They've seen Alligator, probably, maybe seen Torso and stuff, but some of his other films need to get released, like All the Colors of the Dark, which I've never seen myself, which was done just before.
Yeah, me neither.
And The Case of the Scorpion's Tail is a really hard one to find too, but he's done some really notable giallos. Apparently those films are really good. Your Strange Vice of Miss Worth is a film that he did, I think, the year before Your Vice, and this one is a really good film. It's got a great soundtrack and stuff, and you can kind of see, because I watched this film actually about 3-4 weeks ago, sometime in this month anyways, and I posted a picture on Instagram of it and stuff, and it was kind of a revisit for me, and I wanted to watch something that would kind of pre Your Vice and stuff, and just kind of compare his styles and stuff, and man, he grew like in a year or two. It's really insane how he did that. So but Sergio Martino dipped into lots of different subgenres. I don't think he really does horror films anymore. I don't think he's done one in a long time, which is kind of sad.
He even did some westerns.
Yeah, he did westerns. He did sex comedies, and he's done a lot of dramas and thrillers as recently.
I never know which one of these guys are alive every time we do a director.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Yeah, I know he is. I found that out yesterday.
Do you ever notice with a lot of these, these old school Italian directors, their later films in their filmography are all TV movies? Like, it's like Lamberto Bava's like that. Everyone just seems to go to TV. They're just like, fuck, man, screw the studios and stuff. We'll just work for TV, kind of thing. But it seems like that's the consensus with Sergio Martino also. But
he also directed Screamers, which is kind of like
he directed. Screamers is an interesting film, and then he kind of I don't know if it's like a remake or whatever, but the Fishmen and Their Queen it's
a sequel.
But it incorporates footage from Screamers and stuff. It's got a lot of footage from that film, and I think it even incorporates footage from 2019 and stuff. Mm-hmm. Also, it's kind of like this mash films, so that's kind of a strange one. But
what, man, this shit got 6 writers again, man. What's up with these Italian fools not being able to fucking write without a team?
Maybe they're all TV writers or something. That's just how they work.
It's crazy, dude. I feel like that's part of why certain things are harder to pick up, is because there's so many fucking people writing this shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that is true. But yeah, let's get into this. From 1972, and probably one of the longest titles you're ever going to hear. Your Vice is a Locked Room, and Only I Have the Key. It's a mouthful. Did you guys watch this film with the, I guess that's Torso that has the Eli Roth introduction, but Eli Roth does a
special feature.
There's a special feature on this. Did you guys happen to watch that special feature?
I did. I have.
I've watched it twice now.
Okay, cool stuff.
I was going to mention that later.
Yeah, that's cool. I was curious if you guys did that or not.
Question for you: which version of the film did you watch?
The Italian.
There's the Italian, and there's the English.
Are you talking audio version?
Yeah, there's on the Blu-ray that Arrow put out. There's 2 versions of the film: the Italian version and the English version.
Yeah, I always watch it in whatever they actually filmed it in. That film was actually done in Italian, so I watched that one in Italian.
Derek?
Torso was shot in English. But...
Derek?
I watched it in English.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I watched it in both.
Nice.
I watched both versions.
Look at that. One in English, one in Italian, and one has to go overboard. Fucking do both. Look at that shit. Shit. All right.
There's differences. There definitely is differences.
Differences in obviously in the dialogue, right?
Well, but differences in dialogue can kind of morph the story as well a little bit, it
I
adds complete different feelings, emotions to what you feel.
See, that's why I can't watch like the English version. To me, would just it would come off strange. I don't know. I figure like
tell the intro to what the story's about, and then I'll give you an example of something.
Okay, so yeah, the synopsis on IMDb here is really long, so I don't know if this comes off a little bit ridiculous, then it's kind of giving plot point. I don't know. Okay, how do you pronounce the guy's name?
Olivero?
Olivero?
Olivero.
Olivero? Yeah, it's kind of a weird name. Olivero is a burned out writer. Oliviero. That's what it is.
There you go.
Oliviero. That's such a weird name. Oliviero is a burned out writer living at his estate near Venice. His dead mother dominated his imagination. He is also a degenerate. Sleeps with his maid and his ex-students. Hosts bachelana for local hippies. I'm assuming that's like an Italian word for parties. I don't know. And humiliates his wife, Irina, in front of strangers. She lives in terror. I love reading these. When a young woman is murdered, police suspect Oliviero. Things get complicated when his young, beautiful, self-confident niece, Florana, pays an unexpected visit. A silver-haired stranger observes. More women die, and thoughts of harming Irina, I don't know how the fuck to say her name, give Oliviero new inspiration. What's Florina's game, and who's the observant stranger? Watching all this is a black cat named Satan. That fucking storyline.
That's a crazy synopsis.
Yeah, it's just so broken. It's written so brokenly. But yeah, I mean, that's essentially what it is, man. We got this Oliviero character. He's a total piece of shit. And, this is what he is. He's bummed out because his writing career has kind of come to a halt. He's out of ideas, and he's resorted to drinking very, very heavily. Mm-hmm. Focusing on his mother and how she obviously dominated his life and stuff, and he can't get past that. But he is literally that guy that is taking out his aggressions on the people around him. He beats on his wife, he rapes her, he fucking humiliates. He does all this crazy shit, and we get to see all this type of things happening. And of course, when someone dies, the police start investigating, and then we got our story from there.
So oddly enough, this movie is not even categorized as a horror film on IMDb. It's only a thriller. It's interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. IMDb should have a category for giallos.
Yeah, I know they should, but they don't. Right. That's weird.
Yeah.
That is weird that they don't.
I always thought that was funny too, actually, because it would make a little bit more sense. It would make everything easier to find on here for sure. Clicking giallos,
So I'll tell you one thing. This is now my third time watching this film, and I think I got the most out of it this time. The first time, admittedly,
were you confused on this one?
Huh?
Were you confused on this one?
No, but the first time that I watched it back in when the set came out, I thought it was a little. I didn't think it was confusing, but I just didn't think that. For example. It's not easy to come across that this guy is like an alcoholic. Like, they don't show a lot of him drinking or like typical behavior of an alcoholic other than his angry outbursts. It's mentioned once in dialogue that he's a drug addict, but it's very, very, very just briefly touched over, and it's actually different in both versions. I can't remember the exact quotes, but one it's less noticeable. So, there's things like that where you're just like, okay.
I actually kind of disagree. I mean, they do show quite a bit of him. It's not blatant drinking, but he is drinking. But there is scenes where, you can see the J&B bottles around and, his wife knocking him over. And, they're visibly present in the film. Yeah, but I just
thought that he was, they had a party. So these are all the leftover bottles from that party because the opening scene is a party.
Well, yeah, I know, but I'm talking about the bottles in his bedroom. His bottles in his bedroom, which is actually way after the party. There's a scene where they kind of get knocked over and stuff, and that is after that party.
Well, I mean,
sometime who knows when the timeline is.
I just assumed that it was this is a giant ass house. There's fucking bottles everywhere. I don't know. I never got this.
But his actions are. I mean, let's face it, man. His actions are definitely the direct result of drinking way too much fucking scotch or whatever he's drinking and shit. The guy is visibly.
I don't know, man. I never look. He never seems drunk in any scene that he's in. Not a single scene does he seem drunk.
But a lot of alcoholics don't, though. they're just fucking, they have that asshole steamer about them, and that's what they are. They're just fucking mean people.
Yeah.
And you get that a lot in him with everybody. He's just a fucking asshole is what he is.
Yeah, he's like the Italian David Hess.
Yeah, he's like kind of a jerk. I mean, like, I never really saw him as like overly, like,
even in
the
scene,
the things with his wife with the like rape and stuff, like, it never, when I was watching it the first time, it never seemed like, I was getting the impression that it's like, oh, this is what they do, like they're about like domination. Like, I was getting the sense that it was
really,
like,
because she's like visibly freaked out, man.
But then there's shots of her where she doesn't seem like that. Well, freaked
she's also
out.
giving
like,
in.
It just like she seems to like they have a thing. Like, I don't know. The first time I seen it, I didn't get that he was like this big. Like,
well, she says in dialogue, like, she's like fucking scared, like she's scared for her life and stuff. And there's points where he's specifically doing things to her, and she's kind of letting him because she's so terrified on what might actually happen next if she decides to maybe, who knows, fight back, whatever. But
is she?
She's living in fear.
But
she says it.
Is she though?
Of course she is.
Are you sure?
Yeah. It's all part of her master plan.
I don't think that. I think that she wasn't, man. Like,
you don't think a lot of the stuff that was happening in the first half of the film was, or, you know, I mean, we get these direct images of, you know, how he is, and then you don't think the things that are happening after are direct results of what he's doing to her?
No.
I really? Because, I mean, if you've read the Black Cat story, I mean, this is very, very, or even seen multiple versions of the story and stuff. They all kind of play out very similar.
Yeah.
I mean, in a sense, these are very much revenge films, and yeah, I mean, you have to have something to go on, and that is her being dominated and treated like a piece of shit, and quite visibly, she was like a complete piece of meat to him. Because,
but I just feel like that. I think that might have set her over the edge and stuff. But I got the sense that she was like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to talk about this one, but okay. I
don't know. I just figured, like, just by her actions and stuff, like, she's fucking like, holy crap, man! Like, this dude is gonna go off the deep end one day and do something, and then
but I'm talking about once you see some stuff that happens later in the film, I kind of got a different. I just because there's like a personality swap a little bit, and I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain without going into details about the end of the film. But okay, I'll take your word for it that that's what's going on. And yeah, but anyway, back to the first time that I seen this though. Like, maybe it was just like lost in translation with the whatever version. I watched the English version first, but back in a couple months ago, and I don't know, I never got the sense that I guess I was kind of just unsure. I was like, is she okay with this? Like, because it seemed like that she was like,
I find
not
it really
fighting
intriguing
it as much. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just seemed like she was like willing to just be like do it. I guess.
No, I find it very intriguing that you took it that way, because I never have ever had the impression that she was, you know, kind of okay and this was kind of a game type thing. I think that she was literally scared for her fucking life, and she decided to, you know, kind of do something about it. I mean, it's really not that much of a spoiler territory. I mean, tons of people know the Black Cat story. I mean, it's very, very famous.
I never read it.
You really? It's crazy. I mean, there's so many movies that end up. I mean, this is a really interesting development for the Black Cat story. Like, it's kind of cool how they did it. It's a little bit different from multiple editions that I've seen of the film and stuff.
Yeah.
But what about you, Derek? Like, do you get the impression that
I think she was terrified?
Yeah, dude. I think that she's like legitimately so fucking scared. She doesn't really know what to do until she starts to possibly do something.
At the point that we meet her, though, it's she's so used to it too that it doesn't seem like that she's fighting because it's at that point where she's just getting used to it, and before that we will see like her being more terrified, like when it was first happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
But you also get the sense that this has been happening for a while because they do note in specific dialogue that, you know, it's the one scene where Olivier, he's in the bookstore and the book owner or whatever is talking, he's like, you know, it's such a shame they don't put your books back into print and stuff like that. So you get this idea that, you know, his career has been kind of on the down low for a while. You know, it's been a long time, and that kind of translates back to like how he's been acting for who knows how long. It could have been years with her, and you kind of get that sense that she's been kind of locked in this closet. You know, kind of stuck
like
in her
possession.
ways. Yeah, like she's been kind of stuck, and he's been dominating her for so long that she's so fucking.
I've definitely got that sense too. Like I'm not saying I'm just saying that, based on what I found out later, like I almost thought that okay, like. It didn't feel like 100% just revenge to me. I don't know. Maybe it just that's the way I seen it. Like that's initially what I'm thinking. You know, like my first initial thoughts are like, okay, is she like down with this stuff? And then I did consider that she wasn't because of I couldn't tell, so I was like teetering on both options. But then the way the whole movie like kind of plays out, like I don't know. I kind of saw it a little bit different. But what you guys are saying is kind of making me think of it a little bit more negatively in a way, just because I don't know if I had this thing in my head or not, like that, like now it all just feels wrong and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. But one of the differences that I wanted to tell you guys about, this is like the main one that I noticed right away was whenever the maid gets the axe, right, like the black maid, in the Italian version, do you know what they said happened to her, Moods?
In the Italian version?
Yeah.
I don't remember specifically what they said.
You don't know what they told the cops? Like, just in general.
I think they told... Didn't they tell the cops that she left?
Yeah. So
like,
they tell the cops that she left. They tell... Edwidge Finch that she left. But in the English version, and I think it actually plays out better in the English version because it seems it honestly changes the way that it feels like they're hiding something, which is kind of interesting that it can do that. But they say that they fired her, and they say like, yeah, she was a terrible. She sucked. She like they mentioned that a couple times that she was like super shitty at her job. And then when they meet the other guy, like the milkman guy, he mentions that she was like good at her job. So it like, kind of changes like the dynamic there a little bit, which I thought was interesting. Mm-hmm. When in the other version, it just says that she left, and then
what does it change for you though? I mean, I understand where you're coming from here.
Well, it just adds another layer to it. Instead of just it being she left, it's they lied about it. And somebody else in the film noticed, like, maybe not notices that, but at least lets the audience know that there's a conflict to that story.
Yeah, I get that. And, I never really thought about watching, the English verse, the Italian, just for notable things like this. Those little differences in dialogue that can actually change, not only a scene, but the way you think about, the what really happened. And that's very interesting. That's very interesting. I never
honestly,
ever thought of doing that.
The dialogue could have actually been slightly different in what the response is to, like, some of those attacks and like rapes and stuff. But according to Derek, he's seen the English version, so.
I don't know. It's more. I mean. The one scene where Oliviero is raping his wife, I mean,
in front of like
there's not really a lot of dialogue there. It's more just sheer terror on her face, like, okay, hold still, because
and the maid was watching it too, like when he was raping her.
Yeah, which is why it made me feel like, oh, like this is just what they do then.
Well, he was fucking made too.
Like the other person, like, I don't know. It seemed like too many people like knew about it for it to just not be.
It's a common thing in Martino's films though, with the voyeurism and stuff, that he puts things in there like that. I mean, he was already fucking her anyways, so it's just, you see that in Torso also. A lot of voyeurism, a lot of people kind of seeing other things and kind of the opposite side of it and stuff, and exploiting the sexual violence. When you see it from someone else's eyes too, it's just kind of, whoa, Jesus Christ, man.
So let me ask you guys a question. The only real like time in this film where I was like, oh, that's kind of weird, like in terms of like something that I thought was a little like iffy on the plot, was when the two characters, the wife and the husband, are in the house, the same house. It's a big house, but they're in the same house, and they find the maid dead. Now, if you're the husband, and in your head, you know, I didn't kill this chick, like, isn't it weird that you would just want to hide the body? And if you're the wife and you know, I didn't kill this chick, wouldn't it be weird? It makes a little more sense with the wife.
He does say why he does it, though, because he was under
investigation. But if he knew, you know, like, obviously as an audience, like, he's guilty, so, like, it makes sense why he would do it. But in his head, if he knows that he didn't, right, like I'm saying, as a character, like, as that character knows in his head that he didn't do it.
That's actually one of the biggest points that you might be missing here, is that not only was he under investigation and he was a little bit terrified that, you know, if another body showed up in his house, they're immediately going to assume that, well, of course this guy's fucking guilty of the other murder too. There is a point in the film where he actually kind of questions his mental state, and he's not even 100% sure if he did the first one or not. There's actually a point. So then he kind of like, instead of like, you know, okay, dealing with this or calling it whatever, he's like, fuck this, we got to hide this because I'm not 100% sure what's really going on.
Which I think actually Eli Roth points that out too, which is what after I watched the feature, I think, because he mentions that like that's where his alcoholism is in full effect, which is the first I remember listening to that, or it was another feature on there or a commentary or something, because I watched all the features, where I was like, okay, so like his alcoholism is a big effect in this movie. I just didn't notice it the first time I watched it, because I guess the idea behind it, and it's not spoken that much in dialogue, but that he's always in such a drunken stupor, and that's why I say like he never seems that drunk to me, but apparently he's in such a drunken stupor that he can't.
I think it's because he's a perma-drunk.
Or not.
Yeah, he's literally one of those perma-drunks. He's drinking all the time.
Yeah, so. I mean, I know plenty of alcoholics in real life, and when they're drunk, they always seem drunk to me.
Yeah.
There's a few that I know that you can never tell if they're really wasted or not, because they've been drinking for years. He seems like that type.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I know people like that too. So. But go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So. I really like the introduction of the niece character, which, by the way, also is another thing that the first time I watched this, I couldn't tell what the fuck she was. I was like, is she related to this dude? Like, she keeps saying auntie, but I'm like, not. It's like weird.
Okay, this is the one thing about the film that actually I want your guys' opinion on this. Now, I want to know if Sergio Martino did this purposely to get people thinking, or if it's just a misstep in the plot. But, okay, so she's introduced as Oliviero's niece.
Yes.
Right? But she keeps calling his dead mother auntie. Now...
So it's his great niece.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's the thing.
It's his niece.
If her mother was his sister, right, that would mean they were fucking cousins. Right, because if she's calling his dad auntie, that would mean that they're actually cousins, right? So, unless they just use different words for, you know, family members and stuff like that, because niece, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But she's introduced as the niece, but she's saying auntie.
Well, it could be,
right? Because if she was technically Oliviero's mom was her auntie, well, fuck, let's face it, man, they're cousins. But either way,
weird.
Either way,
they're great cousins. Yeah, it's fucking weird,
right? So that's the thing. I thought about this many, many times. But either way, it doesn't matter how it goes down. If, you know, by chance it's just a plot misstep or whatever in the relationship, either way, they're still fucking each other. They're supposed to be family members, but there is a really interesting kind of development with her character, and I think it's I think it's done purposely by Martino in the film. He introduces her, and maybe he's fucking with you a little bit by niece, stuff like that. Is she actually a family member, or is she introduced as, maybe she was like another fling for him or something like that, or like what?
Well,
exactly
I think
is she in reality?
Well, I think that there's definitely. They introduce her as the niece, but they even drop a line of dialogue that I think that either she doesn't. I don't know which version it was in, but it might have been the English version. But I think they drop a line of dialogue that says that she looks nothing like she did when she was younger. So, which makes you think that she might not even be the person that they're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Which I thought was a great little touch, just to even if she is. Or even if she isn't, it doesn't really need explained. It's just a nice little thing to throw in there to add to the mythology and the mystery of the whole damn huge.
Well, it makes everything such a clusterfuck, right? Because if she, theoretically is related to him, I mean, they're having sex, dude. And
incest.
It's like, it has this incest type thing, and it's like, it kind of puts a whole nother twist on his character, too. It's like, not only is he just this piece of shit, but like, he just really doesn't give a shit about anything.
Yeah, but she's a piece of shit as well, kind of.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like she's like kind of just as bad as him.
But she is also introduced as a bad character too. She's a manipulator. She's manipulating situations and stuff. She's saying one thing to him.
Too.
Yeah, she's saying one thing to Oliviero, and then she's going to the wife, and then even having relations with her.
Yeah.
She literally is like, she's in the middle on purpose. She's purposely having these lesbian relationships and sexual relations with her cousin or her fucking whatever.
The motorcyclist.
She's doing it purposely, stirring up shit and stuff. And
cat and mouse stuff.
It's a nice little contrast in the film, to be honest. Gets you really thinking. I like that.
Edward Fenech, though, smoking hot.
Yeah, she does a good job. She looks really different in the film, with her
short hair. Yeah, I think she looks best with that short hair.
Yeah. This is the first time she did have short hair in films. I remember Martino was saying that in the interview that he did, because it said that what they were saying was because they did the other film, Mrs. Reth, before this one.
Yeah.
And then she cut the hair short because the character is supposed to be like younger too. So he wanted to
But he also wanted to change her look completely because she was playing a bad girl for the first time too.
Yeah.
So they didn't want her having that, kind of young, kind of schoolgirl innocent look to her. Change it up. So.
Yeah, she does. I think she does this bad girl great, man. Like, I think it's the best performance in the movie.
I think actually, honestly, everyone's pretty good in this film.
You're right. I mean, the wife is fantastic.
Anita Stringbird,
the husband is great. I do like. Back again, I don't think that the performance, when I mentioned that, like, I didn't feel like I got the sense that he was, like as big of a alcoholic drug addict, because, we don't really see him do any drugs either, but they say that that's a huge part of it. I didn't get that sense. I don't think it comes from the acting. I just think that they didn't write any of that stuff in the script. So
we also get me and Moods' boy in this film, Ivan Rosimo.
Who's that?
Ivan Rosimo's in this one.
He's the silver-haired gentleman.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't really like that guy. That's the only person that I didn't really care for.
He's in every fucking Italian film, it seems like.
But there was, it was very well acted. Honestly, the English dub was good too.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. It was well dubbed for English dub.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, man, watching Luigi Pistilli. I always think of him from, even though he was in Bad Blood, but like I always think of him from westerns, because he did so many crime films and western films and stuff. I've seen tons of his movies. It's crazy, but yeah, he's a good actor though, man. He's pretty much kind of the same in everything, but like he just kind of has that look and overall demonor to him that
that's the film I remember from his Caliber 9.
It's cool that they put him in there, because I find him a little bit, almost a little bit scary, because he just has that grumpy fucking look on his face, I think it was casted well for that.
He fits the role to it.
For that piece of shit part, so. But.
I like the setting for this one. They're kind of in this, like, almost like castle type thing.
The castle's so fantastic, man.
There's a lot of good shots in this film as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great, like, editing style, too, like, with the cinematography and the shots of what's going on and how it was edited. I really do think Martino is like good with his direction of letting the editors know how he wanted scenes to be set up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, one thing, I think Eli Roth even mentioned this too about Martino's characters in this film is like he does not shy away from, showcasing really shitty bad characters. Generally it's always an argument when you're watching films like, man, I didn't like anybody in that film. Like they were all just like, bad,
there's not a single likable character in this movie.
No.
And I'm 100% fine with that because I don't need to like anybody in a movie. I say it time and time again. I don't need to like I don't even fucking need to like the cat. I don't need to like anybody. I just need to find them interesting. That's all I care about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes it depends, with bona fide slasher films. I mean, if you have no connection to any type of the characters and stuff and they die, you're just like, it's almost laughable, right? This is like, that's disposable right there, at its best.
But that's based on the fact that the story is about people that are that's what I'm saying. Right? But
this one right here, it's like there's just a bunch of bad characters in this film, like people that are generally not good people, but it doesn't affect my opinion of anything that's going on in the film. I think it's just perfect for what it is, and it's it's endearing too, like to see Martino do that. I like that style of filmmaking right there. It's just don't give a fuck. Yeah. I'm going to showcase the worst of the worst.
Like some of my favorite filmmaking. Like I love movies with fucking people you can't stand. Those are the ones I like the most. But anyway, there's one scene that I do find kind of funny. So when the motorbike rider dude, the milk guy, loses his race. For one, when he loses his race, it's really funny in the English.
Yeah,
version. The English version's funnier than the Italian version. How he's like flipping out in the English version's funny. I can't remember. Does he call her a stupid bitch or something in the Italian version?
I don't. What, the bike?
No, the girl when she comes over to be like, "Hey, you okay?" or whatever.
I can't remember what he says to her specifically. I don't think he says stupid bitch, though.
He says something along those lines. It was funny. But anyway, he picks her up. They go back on the bike that was broken, by the way. Now runs perfectly fine. And they go to this like shitty little barn thing.
Yeah, it was like an abandoned barn.
And he like pulls out his like little knapsack, like sleeping bag, and he's like, "Yo, we gotta get in to have sex." And she's like, "We're not gonna make love in here or something." And I'm like, "Yeah, love. You're stupid. You're really funny there, Edwidge." And
again, which showcases some more voyeurism right there.
Yeah, and for the life of me, like this is like, dude, this is dumb. The fact that the guy just like he fucking walked into the building. And he's like just in the like on the staircase or something, like it's shadowy.
Watching.
Like how the fuck is he there?
He's just following them. I don't.
Yeah. Like no, he was not following them. He was nowhere in sight. We did not see him at the race. We did not see him behind them. We didn't. There's plenty of like it's one of those things, man. That's one. It was
just a really good guess.
That's just one of those things that like you probably. Like, the state of filmmaking back then, that's just one of the types of things that you didn't care about.
Yeah.
Now there's a guy who's making sure you don't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's like continuity.
You have to showcase that character a little bit before you're going to put him into a scene like that.
Yeah.
So it makes a little bit of sense of where he came from.
Far away. Like,
that's
we've never seen that building before.
Exactly.
Like, now, if it was back at her place, that would make much more sense, right?
Because most likely he is at home, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like they should.
And he's not. And that scene doesn't make a lot of sense for a lot of reasons because he's not really the type of person to be like out exploring and shit. He's really that homebody now because he's all down in the dumps. He's just drinking and getting shit faced. So it doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
One thing that I like about this film, and kind of winding down on this one a little bit, is it's like a rubber band ball. There's just like you pull one rubber band off and there's a whole nother rubber band underneath it, and like you keep going down, there's like all these like cool reveals and stuff like that. Honestly, like I like it is obviously a film that has like some twists and turns in it. I didn't see a damn single one of them coming the first time that I watched it. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was very well done. Like, it played out very well. Like, everything that you find out, like, you're like, damn, that's good. You know how, like, a lot of giallos you watch and it's like, oh, well, that's stupid or that doesn't make sense. But this one's pretty sound. It's pretty tight.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit unfortunate. I mean, if you know the Black Cat story and you've seen other, films based on adaptations of the Black Cat, and you know that this one is that, pretty much where it's going. But I mean, it's still cool to, the reveals and the twists and turns and things and how it develops into that Poe story, Yeah. I think this one's really well done, actually. I've seen a lot of different adaptations, and
what's the best adaptation then?
One of my favorite adaptations, honestly, this might sound funny, but it's the Masters of Horror episode, The Black Cat, starring Jeffrey Combs. He not only plays Poe so fucking good in that, but it's just a really, really well done episode. But that's a really good adaptation. This one is a lot better than Fulci's Black Cat. Just put it that way. But there's a lot of good ones. But like I said, unfortunately, like I'd read the story years and years ago, and you kind of know where this is going. But I think it's a really good job. It hides it quite well. It definitely covers. Yeah, if you're going into this completely not knowing really what you're getting yourself into with the twists and turns and the whole
Corman did one in Tales of Terror, like the anthology.
Yeah.
They kind of mixed.
So is this film like most of Poe's stories that were like these super short stories that like they tried to buff out into, like a lot of the Corman productions from the 60s, like they were these like short stories that were like really hard to make into like a long narrative. Is this one, or is like the Black Cat pretty detailed? No,
the Black Cat's pretty short, but they do a really good job with this one, man. It's not that it's stretched out, but his stories are short, but there's so much detail and they're so compelling that you can really kind of stretch out a lot of his stories into full-length films. I've never really had a problem with people adapting Poe stories into full-length films and being like, oh shit, because everyone kind of puts their own twist on it and things, and hence this one. And it really, it's just about, I was just saying, because the Poe story's about this end of the film, right? That's, the third act in this film is the Poe story, essentially.
Well, that's what I'm like. That's why I don't care really about like if it was adapted well, because it feels like most of those adaptations are like very loose anyway, because like the original stories are like fucking just
so short.
They're just a little, they're like a climax.
You pretty much have to develop a whole kind of 2/3 of the film first,
like I've read a good bit. I don't think I've ever read the Black Cat. I might have back in school, but I don't remember. It's a very, like, the story definitely seems familiar, but I've probably seen other adaptations or something along the line.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, it's really good stuff.
But my favorite has always been Telltale Heart and the Cask of Maldonado.
Yeah, Cask of Maldonado is awesome.
Yeah, those are my two favorite.
Telltale Heart, that's good too.
This one, the ending to this one kind of reminds me of like the same feeling that you get when
It is, man. If you read a lot of Poe stories, he's got a kind of distinct flavor to his stories. They're very, very dark and just
have dark endings and stuff.
Yeah. That's what makes him so cool to read, man. He's one of those guys that can write so much with so little words.
Yeah.
Always found that with Poe, man. It's amazing how he would word his shit for the time that he wrote these. He was so fucking far ahead of his time. It's unbelievable. Like, there was no minds like this. You got to remember, he was basing all this shit strictly out of his mind, man. I mean, most people say that Poe was a little bit out of his mind because he was kind of fucked up, but I mean, it shows in here. Like, this is very creative shit. Very, very creative stuff for the time it was written too. But
there's a lot
of good
of
film, man.
Yeah, it is, and there's a lot of good features on the Arrow disc as well.
There is.
This really is one that I watched every feature back when I got this set, and then I watched a couple of them for this review. But the Eli Roth thing, man, they should put that guy on every fucking disc ever. Like, he just, like,
he's
I don't
a
know
big
how
fan of
Sergio
Sergio
like him,
Martino.
Like, he's clearly a huge fucking fan of movies. Like,
it makes absolute. I finished watching, that little bit with Eli Roth, and I even said to myself, I was like, "The fuck doesn't like this guy, man? The guy is clearly us. He's a
super fan, dude. He's
very
way
well
more
spoken.
than I knew about it. Right?
He's
He
very
has a
well
good way of-
spoken.
Exactly, he has a good way of explaining it in sort of like layman's terms of like the
He
magnitude
actually
of some shit.
he actually does a feature on the '88 film's Alien 2 release that they did, where he talks about the film because he's actually a big fan of that film too.
Yeah,
See,
his
this is what Eli
insights
Roth
are
does,
awesome,
man.
dude, man.
He just does. He just gets basically contracted out to do these features on Blu-rays instead of making films. That's what he does.
Yeah.
He's like on all these features, but which I'm fine with. Honestly, I could listen to Eli Roth talk all day. To be honest, I mean,
Yeah, no, he's
I'm not trying to suck his dick
he
or
should
anything,
start
but I'm
a
just
fucking
saying.
podcast, honestly.
No, he's really. But the thing I like about Eli Roth is that he's so into Italian films and shit like that too, and he's just got this great insight, man. So it's very relatable to me.
Well,
'cause
if you look at the beginning of Hostel 2, he actually
the homage
you could
is
tell-
in there. Just
you could tell that
ridiculous.
he's a big fan of Sergio Martino in that scene too, because he
He
has
even
two of
admits
his.
that. He's like, this is totally just taken straight from the film, and I mean, he went as far to even hire or to put
Edward Fennick.
in part two. That's really cool, and
Took our-
also
Also
the other
guy
guy too,
from the film that we're going to talk about next.
a torso.
Yeah, did you know that that was pretty interesting that he mentioned that he was a huge fan of Martino's work. He was in film school. He knew this girl, and then he went and met Sergio Martino after he was making movies and stuff, and he's like, oh, and this is my daughter, and it's the fucking chick that he went to film school with the whole time and didn't know that he fucking...
That's crazy.
That was his daughter.
I was just thinking, like, that girl is pretty humble about her father, isn't she?
Yeah, right?
She
You
never
would
mentioned...
think, like, if it was Jeremy, he'd be rolling in there like, my dad is Sergio Martino.
My dad's Sergio Martino.
I'm gonna be
All
in
right.
Yeah, that's so true.
He's like, so I was just kicking it with my dad the other day, Sergio Martino.
She has name dropping left and right.
Yeah.
Shit.
Anyway, I think that's kind of, let's you guys want to go into ratings?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Oh,
Why not?
before we do, there's also a really interesting little 30-minute feature on there. Film historian, once again, talks about the career of Edwidge Fenech, which is, I don't know if you guys checked that out, but that's a good feature as well.
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't. I was going to get around to it, but I just didn't.
All right, so I'll go first on this one. Your Vice is a locked room and only I have a key is honestly a title that I don't care for that much. I don't really get it. I don't think it references the film too much. It's just a mouthful, but it's just one of those giallo titles that's kind of weird. But if something like that will put you off, like I know people like me and Dave are like that, where we hear a dumb title and we don't even want to see the movie sometimes.
Well, the title's in full reference to, the story of the Black Cat, right? Because she's in control. I don't want to give it away, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Anyways.
but what does Your Vice as a locked room mean?
Your vice, the vice as in, person, and lock room could be behind a wall type thing, in a sense,
Yeah, I don't like it. Should just call it the Black Cat, man.
Nah, too many fucking movies with that title. That doesn't sound exciting.
Neither does that. That does not. Come on, Your Vice is a locked room and only I have the key.
Oh my
that
god,
sounds
dude,
like
I
some
love
fucking...
titles like that. I
come
love
on.
titles
That's
like
awesome.
That title's awful.
Black Belly the Tarantula. Fucking
Yeah, that's
awesome,
a good title
man.
because it sounds fucking scary. Locks are not scary. Okay, fucking keys are not scary either.
Vices could be scary.
What do you mean? Being locked up in a room doesn't scare you? That would
No,
suck.
because you have the key's there, man.
But only I have the key.
I'm just kidding,
But she
man. I
only
just
has
don't
the
like
key, man.
overly mouthfully messy titles that like if I read that title, right? If you're gonna make a title that long, at least give me some insight to the film. Like I read that title and that if you don't, after you watch the film, okay, yeah, you're right. It does have reference. It does connect, but I don't know, man. It's one of those
Only
titles
I
you
have
read.
key is like the biggest giveaway right there. Come on.
So
But,
anyway, I may not like the title, but I love the movie. I honestly do. There's one thing, everybody looks really sweaty in this film, and for some reason that's always effective for me. Just a little perspiration goes a long way when you're talking to me. And I talk to that. I mention that all the time, right? Like, it's stuff like that costs no money, and it sets a feeling. You get a feeling that everything is like, it feels drunken, sweaty, just like, just hot as fuck in there.
They capture that a lot in westerns too. People are always sweating because they're wearing like heavy leather and jean clothes and shit, and it's probably super warm. It's good.
Yeah, but honestly, I like this movie a lot just based on the narrative quality of it. It has a really good narrative, in my opinion, and whether it's because it's based on the Black Cat or what, I just feel like they tie it really cool in a cool way, and I like the reveals. I love the characters, especially Edwidge. That's probably my favorite character, because she's just so manipulative. I think her performance is good, and just the writing and the way the character is able to kind of come in and cause damage, but at the same time seem like she's helping each person. You know what I mean? To them, she's helping, but to the viewer, we're seeing her just wreak havoc. That's a pretty cool thing. I'm going to go ahead and give it a... some of the gore shots, not the greatest. It's not a gore film for sure. But pretty cool. Like, the ending seals the deal for me. Like, I love the ending. Love how the very end just plays out like it does. Give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay. Your vice is a locked room and only I have the key. When I first put this film on, I saw like this... I forgot to mention the music of this film, and the music's just absolutely beautiful. Like the way the music is represented and the way the theme of the actual theme is thrown throughout certain scenes. And then we're introduced to our characters, and now the interesting thing about like this weird like Olivero, his character. Oliviero. Okay, there we go. His name's a tongue twister like the title.
Why not, right?
So when we're introduced to his character, he's straight like POS, like beating, drinking, and cheating on his wife and stuff. And then we're introduced to like these murders that are happening. And then we're introduced to Edwidge Fenwick's character, or Florina. And really beautiful interest, and I really enjoy how her character is represented and put in between these two characters that were introduced in the beginning of the film. And there's certain like cat and mouse angles that go throughout the film till the very end, which the ending of this film, in my opinion, is fantastic. Really good stuff. I really like how the reveal of what's going on and how the whole ending goes down. One thing that I have to say, though, is I do agree with JP on the kills could have been a little better. I like how they are actually edited, too, like the choreography and how the film was edited and how go from like the POV shot to the actual edits, and the cinematography of this film is beautiful. So for myself, this film is getting a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, you guys already said the title twice, so I don't need to say it again. Plus, I can't remember it anyways. But yeah, Sergio Martino, man, he really, really does a great job with this film, man. One of my favorite things about this movie is actually the way the cinematography is. It's shot so well. Like, there's so many good long moving shots in this film and stuff, and he just captures everything. Everything's not done too fast and stuff. And, you know, with that said, the actual pacing in this film is amazing. There's a lot of giallos out there that have pacing issues because there's so much development, right? That, you know, that's kind of the big thing with giallos. This one right here, I find just kind of skips along at a great pace. There's never really a whole lot of downtime because he manages to introduce characters in this film at perfect times. It's like, it's almost that time to get a new character, then we get the niece or the cousin or whoever, fetish, you know, and things like that. And I absolutely love that too, man. This is a great, interpretation of the Black Cat story. I mean, everything about this one, the way it leads up into the twists and turns, even if you know the story, it's still a really, really good reveal. You know, for myself, I'm just like, yeah, that's fucking awesome, man. It's really, really good. That is definitely the one thing about this film that kind of does make me laugh a little bit is the ridiculous color of the blood. I have to say, man, it's like that. It's literally paint. like I don't think they even tried to make blood. They just opened up a can of paint and just kind of put it on the wounds. You know, that's literally what it is and stuff. Most of the kills are pretty generic. I mean, they're not really the greatest and stuff, but I think the one where the maid, the
really
black maid
kills,
gets,
they're deaths, right? Like,
yeah,
kills are like fun, like for the audience. Deaths are just like, oh, this character died. Here's, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think pretty much probably the best one, I think, is when the black maid takes the blade in the throat. I think that kind of looked okay, but then the after effect, it doesn't really look that great.
The best one is one we don't even see an aftermath for. It's like a cliff.
Oh, the dummy?
It's scary, man.
I was fucking leading into that, too. And I was like, of course, this film has one of my favorite things ever, and it has a ridiculous dummy death that...
I didn't think it looked that ridiculous.
I love dummy deaths, man. Actually, there's another dummy death in one of the other films we're going to talk about, too. It makes me laugh every time I watch it. Yeah. It's so fucking bad. I love it, man. It's so good. But yeah, the music in this film, absolutely amazing. So good, man. Really, really good stuff. The cues are amazing. Unlikable, but likable characters at the same time. They do great in this film. There's not really a lot to kind of harp on this film, you know, to be honest, but I'm also going to give it a 9 out of 10. I think it's a really, really good film. So.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, I'm right with you on that. It's honestly a movie that you might be scared off by it just because, you know, the title, Italian and stuff, but I think even people who are not huge fans of Italian cinema will enjoy this one because it is just a good story, honestly. Like, it's done well. The characters are portrayed well. I mean, I've watched it now 3 times, and this time went by, yesterday when I watched it, again, it went by, like you said, at a nice pace. Like, it's a good watch. It really is. Like, I like it a lot.
You know, I think, you know, he used the edit to his advantage here. You know, it kept it right down to 90 minutes, and it really works, man. Like, there's really no downtime in this at all. It's crazy. It just kind of floats along, and I think it's very hard to do in this genre. You know, I mean, there's so many things, and it's the main complaint I hear in a lot of reviews about Giallos and stuff, like, oh, you know, kind of dragged here and there and stuff. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, because that one was 114 minutes long. You know, this one, and this one also doesn't feel rushed. You know, it's amazing how the third act just feels kind of natural, like it just kind of plays itself out. It really
just happens, and it's like,
yeah, you know, it doesn't feel like it's rushed. And you know, and I think that's been a complaint in a lot of films for yourself, JP, is that, you know, sometimes these third acts and these reveals and stuff just happen way too quick. This one kind of plays itself out in regular kind of time.
Once you start watching a lot of Giallos and you see like some films and they're like the same like ending, like I'm not using like a specific film as an example, but some films it's like a priest is the killer and some like a bunch of them.
Yeah.
So and you get like generic endings like that, and you're like, when you see like the good ones, you're like. So watch the good ones, like certain endings like that, but it just happens like in certain films and stuff where the endings are like a big part of the payoff of like these certain type of films, and it's really good that this ending does pay off and is well made.
Exactly. All right, so we'll move along here into a year later, 1973 with, I think this is the film we did directly after Your Vice, and its original title is Carnival Violence. Torso is the American title. It was retitled for the American audience. I don't know, which title do you guys prefer, Carnival Violence or Torso?
I like both. Because
Torso.
I actually like Torso too. It just kind of gets to
I wouldn't be mad with like either title because both titles actually go into like what's going to happen too in the film too.
Yeah, true that. I always love the cover art to this film too. Kind of holding that hacksaw and the picture. Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. Of Susie Kendall.
Yeah,
which is totally awesome stuff. So
love me, Susie Kendall.
Yeah, I love Susie Kendall, man. Which is kind of funny, like, you know, she plays an American in like every film, and she's actually British, isn't she? She's always playing an American.
Her voice is actually dubbed to like sound American too.
Yeah, well, always are always dubbed, but she always plays an American. It's funny that she's from the UK. But anyways. So getting to the synopsis of this one, someone is strangling co-eds in Puriga, or however you say it. The only clue is that the killer owns a red and black scarf, and the police are stumped.
Or is it a black and red scarf?
Yeah, exactly. There's a funny scene with that actually in this film. American exchange student Jane, played by Susie Kendall, and her friends decide to take a break from classes by going up to Danielle's uncle's villa in the country. Unfortunately, the killer decides to follow, and the woman being suffering a rapid attrition. I don't know what the fuck they wrote there. I think that's actually spelled wrong. But yeah, that's essentially what we got here, man. We got a killer taking out people on this campus, and this group of friends decide they need to get the fuck out of Dodge before they're the next victims, and that's not really the best idea in the world for them now, is it?
No.
So,
shut the goddamn door!
Thoughts on the film? Thoughts on Torso?
D'Angelo's Brothers score, oh my fucking god. Kills it.
The music is impeccable in this film. So
it's
good.
Magnificent.
What?
Yeah, it's really awesome. Again, just like... Eli Roth, I think he talks about the,
he does the introduction, yeah.
And it's so funny because, he talks about how this one is very much similar to, your Vice, and the fact that, he's not really glorifying, but showcasing and having to do with like sexual violence and stuff like that. He captures it so well in this film because you really truly believe, like Ross said, in this film, and it's just so prevalent. I've never seen a film that just has the best red herrings ever, but it literally makes you believe that every single person in this film is a piece of shit.
Yeah,
like every guy in this film. You think this movie would have been directed
like a sex
by a woman? Yeah, you would have thought that this film was directed by a woman. The way they make men look like pigs. Like every single guy in this film is just gawking over women at every point in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And it showed
the vendor. Yeah,
it's just so funny, like how over the top it is sometimes in these scenes where these guys are just gawking and gawking. It's just ridiculous. But
Martino has these POV shots with the camera exposing women's area as well in certain scenes
Oh, there's some sleazy cinematography in this too. It's just, but it kind of adds to the, what the film is really kind of trying to show, But I don't know, man. Martino, you start to see a little bit of, his style, I should say. Another thing that Eli Roth mentioned was the opening credits, which is something that I was writing. It's pretty obvious to notice, but just how he does the credits, pretty much the exact same. With the blurry. Over the in the sex scenes and things like that. I like that. I like those beginnings. I think that's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
But,
I really like we didn't mention it in the previous film, but he kind of captures that post 60s hippie culture pretty fucking well.
Oh, and it's actually an interesting thing too, because these films were done in 72, 73, and we're into the 70s here, and he's still kind of he's kind of showcasing the times of even Italy though too, because maybe they were just a little bit behind the times, but he's showcasing that that hippie elements and stuff, which when you first pop this in, it totally seems, well, especially with your Vice, that whole fucking scene in the beginning of the film, the whole the song scene, which we didn't actually mention. That has got to be the most 60s shit I've ever seen in my life. It's just crazy how it's just. Yeah, this is the times, this is the times they still weren't into the 70s, I guess, or kind of thing, but they showcase it in this one quite well, too.
Yeah.
This movie's shot, you could definitely tell just in a one film difference. This, even though your Vice was filmed pretty fucking good, this one's cinematography is a definite step up.
Oh, yeah, man.
It's second to none, man, and it showcases itself in scenes oh man, the hippie, the girl, in the, I guess when you want to call it the mud pit or something, I don't know what it's not really a forest. It's more of a swamp, I guess.
The marsh.
Is where they shot that. Yeah, it's like a marsh type deal.
Oh, dude, that's my favorite scene in the entire movie.
Me too, man.
It's so fucking awesome.
It's
just
so
good. There's this great scene where she kind of falls into the swamp, and you get to see the killer from her eyes. And the way it's shot, it's kind of shot up on this 30-degree angle type deal, and it's just the atmosphere and the way he's standing there. It's just it's actually like a terrifying moment in the film.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally kind of scary, and it's just shot so well, really, really well. But
the killer's look with the mask and just in the fog is just fucking awesome.
Okay. Yeah. Which leads me into the first point I wanted to make about this film. Now, this is truly a predecessor for the American slasher. You cannot deny this fact, because this isn't your typical giallo film. I mean, most giallos up until this point were POV killers. You never got to see them until the reveals type deal, and all the kills were done like that. This film, you get to see a killer with a mask. I mean, this was very unusual for this type of film. This is still kind of classified as a giallo, but I mean, let's face it, man, it's not your typical film in a lot of different elements, mostly due to that fact right there. This one plays out very, very much like a standard American slasher film, but there's the lack of the police investigation in this film too. So you guys,
yeah, that's true.
It's kind of interesting,
it's definitely right? Out of the Italian sort of giallos of the early, slasher era, before the slasher era, this is definitely the most prototype of those that I've seen or even heard people talk about.
It's interesting too, because when people talk about these predecessors, Black Christmas and Bay of Blood and stuff, obviously Bay of Blood has been completely ripped off. I mean, let's face it, but this film right here this is kind of the film. I mean, let's face it, masks and stalk and slash and just the way this whole film kind of plays itself out. It's like Martino trying to take the general giallo and just do something completely different with it. And I think he succeeded quite well for what it is. Mm-hmm. He just took it to a different level. This one is, again, doing exactly what the first film did a lot of. I want to say glorifying sexual violence, but it has a shit ton of this in this film. There's
so much nudity in this film.
There's so much nudity, but there's so much graphic sexual violence in this film. Like,
mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not only that this killer's, taking out these girls and stuff, but, you get to see the aftermath. He kind of
body
fondles.
parts.
Yeah, he fondles them, and then he cuts into him.
Yeah,
and
the
takes
fondling is definitely pretty interesting. Like, that's pretty brutal for
it is, especially for the times too.
Yeah, 73, man. That's like,
yeah, man. There's a lot going on, and so I can see why the censors attacked this film quite drastically, because let's face it, man, fondling and mutilating dead bodies after and stuff. It's one thing to kill somebody in a vicious way, but to do stuff to the dead bodies after, I think it's kind of putting even the viewer into a different mind state. You're like, fuck, that's pretty brutal, man.
Is this a video nasty?
No. I think. Oh no, Torso was on the list. I think.
Was it?
I think it was.
It might have been.
I can't even remember. It might have been on the third.
It might have been section 3.
Might have been. Yeah, I can't quite remember. But yeah, man, this one's just. For myself, while watching this film, I think it's beautifully shot, man. I think it's developed quite nicely too. Again, the pacing in this film is actually quite interesting, because it kind of skips along at a great pace, and it almost feels like two different films, to myself.
Especially at the third act.
Well, that's the thing. It's because you have like a good 45 minutes of them at the school, and then they kind of skip over to this villa, just outside the city, and then it kind of, it's more of the same, but it's in a different location. It kind of feels like two different films, but I like that transition.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like
slasher,
two different slashers like melted together or something.
Yeah, but I love the way Martino's narrative plays itself out in this film, because I mean, let's face it, man, this movie has probably the most red herrings I've ever seen in a film. I mean, let's face it, man, every single person. I mean, did you guys call who the killer was in this film?
No.
Not the first time I seen it, no.
No, man.
Well, I'd hope you fucking did the second time you seen it.
Well, of course I did.
This one threw me, like, the first time I had
obviously we were asking about your first time, not your second time.
Oh, yeah, definitely not my first time, yeah.
Because when you're watching this film, man, it's like, again, everybody is that potential killer in this film. It's just ridiculous, like, how much they did it. Oh,
I think I need to watch it again, because, again, with fucking most of these films, like, I get the characters confused. Because they're hopping around so much with different characters. This is the only time I've seen this, by the way, guys.
Yeah, honestly, man, this one doesn't have like a whole lot of character. I mean, there's a lot of girls in the film, but I mean, you got like, I gotta say that the guy that brings by the milk and the bread, the dub on him is the funniest shit ever. Like his voice and the way he's like, milk and bread here.
I love when he's in town later with his boys. Yeah, I seen them, you know.
I saw it was 8 sets of titties and 4 asses. No, I really saw it. It's like, what the fuck? Like, okay, it's great dialogue.
So what's the difference between the Italian and the English version then?
Well, there's 2 scenes of like dialogue that are only in Italian because they lost the English audio for them, and there's also extra fondling.
In which version?
The Italian version.
Ah, so the
is there
Italian
really?
version's the better version then, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was actually extra in the yellow version. I thought this was the one with the extra footage.
No, the Italian one is 93 minutes long, 3 minutes longer.
Oh,
damn!
Fuck me.
Now
I gotta watch some more extra fondling. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to upgrade to the Blu-ray. And I have to say, man, this Blue Underground DVD looks fucking fantastic, man.
Mm-hmm. That's the only reason I didn't buy this one, because I feel like I've pretty much converted to Blu-ray almost exclusively. I'll still buy DVDs if they're on the cheap, but if a movie is expensive on DVD, then I don't even want to fucking consider it.
Yeah, that's
if it's
a good thing.
$10 or more on DVD, get out of my way, son.
That's the good thing about the Blu-ray. It has both versions on there, so you don't even have to.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea to the Blu-ray. I mean, if you're gonna get both versions, why not, right?
The Blu-ray's kind of.
Yeah, it
fluctuates
fluctuates in price.
I didn't.
It fluctuates.
I couldn't find it lower than 19.
Oh, that's shitty. It's probably $40 fucking here. But yeah, what else are your guys' thoughts on this one, man?
Another one of my favorite shots in the film is the well, when the camera's at the bottom of the well.
Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
And the body comes down. Like, dude, that's I love stuff that looks like that.
I love how like the whole hippie scene that we were talking about earlier, and lots of nudity and good stuff. And Carol, I believe, is the name of the girl, and I love like one guy's like trying to fondle her and try to unzip her pants.
I
and
laugh
like,
every time.
You strip first, and she burns his face.
Wait, why did she do that?
Because she was just fucking with him, man. She didn't want to. She wanted to have anything to do with him, really. Because
why was she rolling with him?
Because she's
for the drugs.
For the drugs, yeah. But I just love.
I was kind of confused by that. I was like that. I remember sitting here at my computer, and like seeing this scene play out, and then I'm like, that is how you get raped. I pointed at my screen. And I was like, it's like, that's how you get raped, dude. Don't do stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're dealing with 2 dudes you never met or whatever. You know, these dudes, they don't seem like super nice gentlemen, if you ask me. So like, you be careful, young lady.
I love that the one guy that knew who
dude
the was.
Listen,
was the
when that fucking dude wrecks the bike, I laughed so hard.
And he's all covered in mud.
And his buddy, like, you don't even hear the buddy like turn off his bike and stop and run over. He just appears like out of the side of the screen. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "What the hell? How did you get there so fast?"
It honestly looks like that scene wasn't supposed to go down like that, because he looks like genuinely surprised that he did a header into the mud.
Yeah,
and
like,
they just kind of kept it in the film.
I know. It does feel like that, or it feels like that maybe he like slammed way harder than he expected.
Yeah,
or like did it like completely awkward. Oh, that's a great scene, man. It reminds me of Phantasm when Mike wrecks the bike in the cemetery.
Yeah, I remember that.
So
I used to laugh all the time when I was younger at that. But I love that whole scene from the moment they're in that little hippie commune thing with the chicks dancing and the weed and everything. That most of those weed joints look like cigarettes, but that you know, like, what the fuck is that place? But it looks cool. And when they leave it,
that's a hippie joint,
what
man.
time is it, do you think? Like when the chick walks outside?
I know, because it seems to get dark really fast, doesn't it? Maybe she left right at dusk.
I saw it as like 4 a.m, like 5 a.m, like the sun coming up dark. But I could be wrong, and it could be like 6 p.m. dark. like getting night.
Yeah, I don't know, because when she
either.
leaves, is it dark or is it getting light in this? I don't really
Like it felt like it was getting light to me, but I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, it could be like the complete opposite and be at
And then
dusk too,
yeah.
like where the sun's actually going down.
Either way you think of it, I think that it can be effective.
Yeah, I mean, let's face
It
it.
just had like a nice like
one of
dawn feel to me. I don't know.
Yeah, and then when she leads
What did
into
you
the
think?
marsh.
Like, what did you guys think though? Did you think it was night?
I actually
When
just
you was
assumed it was
watching it.
nighttime.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I thought it was
just leaving
night.
later on.
Yeah,
in
I
the
think
night.
it was like night. Yeah, like later on in the night, early evening maybe, like late evening.
I think maybe it was just because, like, to me, it felt like there was a lot of like dew, like everything seemed like more wet, like morning wetness. But it could be because it was
A swampy area.
like, sort
Yeah.
of the thing.
I love that whole marsh area scene in particular.
Oh, dude, it's so good. Like, I remember watching that scene. I was like, I just want to cut this scene out so I could watch it again and show people this scene. Like, I was like, this scene could work as a short film, and everybody would be like, if it came out today, they'd be like, oh my god, it was such a good short film.
And the fucking music that goes with that scene is just fucking awesome.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the mask?
I like it, man.
I like
It's
it.
just like a regular like ski mask, huh?
It pretty much is. It's
Yeah.
I
just
like
simple
it.
and
I like
effective.
that it's white. You know,
With
Sometimes-
a
most times
with a
they're black and
scarf.
stuff.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
looks good, man. I like it.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah,
down.
man. There's some really good. I like the fact that he caught a lot of like old Italy in this too. You know, shooting like right downtown. You know, like in Rome and shit like that, and kind of captures that old feel to it. It's just
When
it really kind of
Jane
makes the film
and,
timeless.
the teacher are walking through like the town and talking, and like one scene in that church area through like that bridge and stuff. Really,
See, I
good,
love-
like, scenery.
I love shots like that where you get to see a little bit of the actual area that they're shot in and stuff. So I think that's really cool.
One mysterious character is the doctor character, Luke Miranda, who also was in Hostel 2. Who's
yeah.
He kind of has like a red herring to himself too, but we find out like later we find out more about his character as the film progresses, and then he ends up just becoming like our main like hero type for the film.
Yeah, he that's why they introduced that character. It was just as a huge red herring kind of thing. That's really what it is, but I don't know, man. I don't really have any problems with it. I mean, it's pretty obvious what was going on there. I mean, it was.
Oh, I have no problems with it either.
Yeah, I mean,
I like that about it. It introduces him. We don't know much about him, too. And then we find out more about him as the film progresses. We keep seeing him pop up.
He's really just in the mix of like all these characters, like every single guy in this film, right? That is your potential killer, kind of thing, right? So, but I mean, he's one of those characters where it's like almost too obvious that he can't be, kind of thing. But who knows? But who really knows? Because it just, like I said, this film just has an abundance of red herrings. I fucking love the scene where they go back into the town. I think they're getting, they get milk and whatever. And the black chick is sitting on the car, and there must
Everyone's
be
just
20 guys
fantasizing over
fucking
it.
at it.
Oh,
Dude,
oh,
I
cool.
fucking laughed so hard at that scene. It's just so over the top ridiculous. Like, it's like these guys have never seen a girl before. It's like that bad. It's great.
This one only had 3 writers instead of 6.
Yeah, I mean, they probably could have used 6 though. Leading into leading into the third act in this film, I have a little bit of problems with a few things that kind of happen. I mean, I guess I can't go completely into detail and stuff like that, but just more or less, I'll say, with the fact of what happens to 3 of the girls and like how it plays out on screen or doesn't play out on screen. I didn't really care for that, the way that went down. It just seemed like it was a little bit too quick, for the script. Everything's kind of going and happening, and it just seems to go down like way too fast for myself.
Really? I like it. I would cut it away.
Yeah, I didn't mind it either.
Because it was a bigger reveal for when she woke up the next morning.
Yeah, because you didn't for sure know what went down.
Because we wouldn't, because we were following her as the audience.
Yeah,
and it was a bigger surprise for us.
I can see your point, but I was okay with it when it happened.
I don't know. I just felt like it was a little clumpy. Like, I understand completely what they were doing. It was more for her reveal. But I mean, as a viewer though too, it's like, shit, man. Like, we didn't get to really see any of that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, in an
I watch
American slasher, you definitely would have seen it. You know what I mean? So,
But it's just the fact that it was it's three people, right? It's
yeah,
not
you're like,
just
how
like
the fuck did that go down?
exactly, and you kind of question a little bit. So it's always something that's always
That
kind
might
of
have been why they cut away. Honestly,
maybe they couldn't figure out how to do it properly. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just always been a minor gripe with the film. That and also the full reveal of the killer in this film too. I've always had a major problem with the backstory of like what his motives exactly, like why he's actually or her why that person is killing.
What do you mean?
It's actually a dog. The killer's the dog.
What do you mean? You have problems with why he starts killing? There's a reason why he starts killing again.
No, I know I don't like that reason. I think it's weak. I think the explanation's weak. Completely weak. Like you actually like the backstory and the motives of why the killer is actually killing? I think it's just
he's a severely deranged person. That's all I'm going to say about the backstory. But the reason why he starts killing again is because I can't say because I can't go into that territory.
I know exactly what it is, but I just don't like it. I think it's really weak. I think it's like a 6-year-old could have wrote that, man. It's just I never cared for the reveal in this film. The story, I mean, who the killer is.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, I kind of felt like there was some potential with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
man.
I kind of like that basic idea of like, okay, like, but I just didn't. It just was all right, you know.
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, it doesn't necessarily fit the means of who the character is and what he does for a living, and but it's just when you really kind of break it down and think about it, it's a pretty weak reveal. I've always had a major gripe with it, man. Okay, I get it. I mean, it leads to a pretty funny moment on a cliff that we get to see in the film when they're explaining the story and stuff, and it's pretty funny. I have to admit, but it doesn't ruin the film for me by any means, you know, but it is something that I do take away from it and go, yeah, that could have been done better. So
I'm with you.
Yeah. And as much as I've always praised this film, that's my biggest problem with it, man. It's just, you know, for something that is developing so well and is so well done throughout the whole film, it's just, it does hurt it. It hurts it, in my opinion. So, but that's all I'll say about that. That's all I'll say about that.
So, do you have much more on this one?
Not really.
Want to go into ratings? Derek, you want to go first?
Sure, why not? Okay, Torso, directed by Sergio Martino. Fucking love this movie with a passion. Love this movie with a passion and stuff. And first time I saw this was like a few years ago on like I think it was actually on one of like the cable stations, but I forgot the name of it.
That's cool.
And fucking really loved all the whole setting of this, and of course, shout out to the girls, Sasa, I believe how you pronounce her name on the Facebook. Yeah, she was actually my Secret Satan, and she actually got me Zaza. Yeah, she actually got me the Blu-ray for Secret Satan. So big props to her.
That's a cool chick, man.
Yeah, she is.
I like her a lot.
And just love everything about this film. I really enjoy like the character development that goes in it, even though like we see like the mysterious of certain characters throughout it. And I really like Susie Kendall as Jane as a character, very strong character in the way that her character is presented and the way that she moves in the ending of the film because she's injured. That's not really spoilerish, right?
No, you already spoiled the many other things. You're good. Worrying about if a fucking injury to a chick's leg is a spoiler. When you're giving away that fucking killer. Continue.
Okay, but just love the development of the scenery, and I really love how this film is edited and progressing. The cinematography is outstanding in my opinion. Really well done with like a very like sleazy type cinematography and certain edited scenes. that I didn't really have a problem with, some certain people did when we were reviewing it. But I really love the fucking score of this film. That's what really brings it down to me, is the soundtrack by the DeAngelis brothers.
Brings it down to you?
Brings it up for me.
Oh.
Fantastic composers, very underrated. Composed a bunch of my favorite films, and this film is a masterpiece in the genre, in my opinion. So it's getting a solid 10 out of 10 for me. I fucking love this movie.
Ooh, Jesus Christ!
All right, yeah, man. I'm a big fan of movies like this that kind of focus on sexual violence. I mean, that sounds very deviant
yeah,
of me
I love
to say.
Sexual violence.
But I find it very provocative and effective when you're watching it too, because you kind of go, "Fuck, man, that's pretty nasty." And it's got a lot of nasty scenes in this. I mean, let's face it, man, limbs getting cut off, and bodies being gutted, and
boobs being fondled in the mud.
Yeah, after they're dead and things like that. Like, there's a lot of that shit, man. This is it's a well done film. For I'd say about 90% of it. I mean, let's face it, man. Soundtrack is, like Derek said, is brilliant. It's absolutely effective in this film. It's really, really good. Cinematography is fantastic. I actually like the characters in this film. I mean, even the girls they're not overly annoying or anything to me. They're okay. They're actually not that bad. I mean, generally when you have like an all-female cast, there's always the one or two, and you're just like, fuck those girls, man. They're fucking annoying. They all kind of come off as very normal type characters and stuff, and really don't have a problem with any of them. So, and Martino does a great job in this film with really focusing and, not giving up on the aspect of every guy is a fucking bona fide pig. I mean, right from the start of this film, right to the very last shot, it's just like the guys are all shitty pigs, man. I love that fact, man. It's something you don't see. Maybe you would see that by a female director, kind of, who knows? But this film's done by a guy. And I just find that so interesting that it kind of focuses so heavily on that. Really good scene, man. A really good film. The pacing is fantastic. I love the editing in this film too. The editing is fantastic. It really kind of keeps it nice and knit. It's nice and tight, in my opinion. Especially with that nice little crotch shot of that hippie dancing. Mm-hmm. That's good shit, man. It's good shit. All in all, man, I really enjoy this film. I think that, like I said, I have minor problems with this. I think that the explanation is, I've always had a problem with it. I think it's not really the greatest thing in the world, but it doesn't kill the film for me or anything. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I think it's right up there with Vice. I think this one is definitely might be, shot better and stuff, but it is what it is. Torso, I'm going to give it a 9. I really enjoy this film.
All right. And me, Torso, first time watch. I definitely enjoyed this one. Very easy to watch movie. Very reminiscent of a slasher film. Killer looked good. The shots, scenes, certain scene. That one scene, Jesus Christ, I love it so much. The whole scene in the marsh is really good. Mm-hmm. Like they said, the music, the music fits very well, and that's one thing that it seems like Italian films has done great for the most part is music, man. I mean, they get that recognition for a reason because they definitely do a fantastic job.
You're watching a giallo film right from the opening cue, or like an Italian film, because there's something about Italian composers that just screams Italian. I don't know what it is, but you just know it's Italian right away, and I love that. Mm-hmm. I love that feeling. So
yeah, and I mean, I can't really say too much more. I'm with Moods on the reveal. Like I was okay, but I did think it was a little weak, and or not necessarily the reveal. The reveal was fine because I didn't expect it. But the motive. Besides that, a pretty fucking solid movie. I give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Sweet.
Good stuff.
All right.
Which, by the way, both of those last two films, both had 27.5.
I was just gonna say, is that 27.5 too? That's funny. Yeah.
Derek I think we're gonna call you fucking 10 Derek or something.
No, I really enjoy this
How
one,
many
man.
tens you given off on this show already?
Maybe 3, 4.
3, 4.
I know. I just really love this one, man.
I believe you. All right, let's go to the next one.
All right, man. So we are going to stay in the 70s, which is what the fuck? Totally, man. All three of these films are from the 70s. It's like the 70s Martino show here. To 1978 with so Martino kind of switched up from doing his giallos into dip into the cannibal genre with a film called Mountain of the Cannibal God, which, this one's actually got a bunch of different titles to it. I'm not going to get into them.
Slave of the Cannibal God.
Yeah, there's tons.
Cannibal God.
This movie actually was on the Section 1 list, I think, actually. Yeah, on the video.
Honestly, like, The Mountain of the Cannibal God is a fine title. Like,
I mean, it's very representative of the movie. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is.
It's kind of interesting when you look at this film. This one, is a predecessor to Cannibal Holocaust and Cannibal Ferox and stuff. Probably more the notable cannibal films in the genre. But this one came right after Ruggero Deodato's Jungle Holocaust. Mm-hmm. This one was done like a year after. And this one's very similar to that in a sense. I mean, obviously there's lots of differences, but this one always reminds me of that film for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the opening shots and the helicopter and things like that. The plane scenes and shit. But this one right here has a very almost typical setup to these films. There's so many movies that have this setup. Like Eaten Alive is another one, has the same storyline. It's ridiculous. Same setup anyways, without twists and shit. But we'll get into the synopsis of this. Susan Stevenson and her brother Arthur get off a plane in Papua New Guinea looking for her missing husband. And there's the setup to it. And team up with Dr. Edward Foster. The three head into the jungle, get in more than a few fights amongst themselves, and view lots of gratuitous animal cruelty. Notable an iguana getting inverserated. He fucking writes this shit, man. It's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, so essentially what this is Susan, played by Ursula Anders, and her brother are going to look for her husband that's gone missing. He was doing research in Papua New Guinea, and so they call upon Stacey Keach's character, who they team up with to go, because he knows the area. He actually, which I guess in character development, we learn that he was there and had a bunch of shit happen to him and stuff like that. So all in all, they team up with him to go look for this husband, and a bunch of shit happens. Of course, you're in the jungle with cannibals. What do you think is going to happen?
So one thing that I will say, get out a quarter here, or a dollar, but the very fucking first thing that happens that I notice is like when the plane just freezes, and then it takes a second, and then the words start popping up, and it's like, fuck, is that jarring?
Yeah. It kind
of happens in a lot of these films.
It basically talks about, what does it talk about? It's
one of the least unexplored areas.
Yeah.
Well, Papua New Guinea in reality wasn't even discovered until like the late 19-teens or early 20s is when they actually legitimately found Papua New Guinea. So the explanation was actually true to the film. But I know what you're saying. It almost seems like your DVD or Blu-ray fucking freezes up on you when you're watching.
That's what I thought too. Like I turned it on, I was like,
it does it to me every time I pop this in, man. I actually watched this film a couple months back, I think, with Dylan actually, and I always forget about it, and when it happens, I'm like, fuck, frozen. Oh yeah, never mind. It's kind of one of those moments that gets me every time.
Yeah, I haven't watched many cannibal films, many jungle cannibal films, like this.
Jungle.
But I know there's a lot of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a fair amount of them, yeah.
I really like this movie, but it doesn't really fit. Like, it feels about as traditional. Like, it doesn't feel like it deviates from like what I would think that this movie would be about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think about that? Do you feel like it's pretty paint by the number cannibal jungle movie?
Yeah, this one right here, it's not. You know, I would say this is probably the least cannibalistic film besides Man from Deep River in the whole genre. Man from Deep River is credited as starting the cannibal genre, but there's really only one cannibal scene in that film, and it's towards the end of the film.
Yeah, the end.
And this one right here is kind of similar. You know, I mean, it
starts
has
out like kind of like a jungle slasher in a way.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, you have like all these kind of moments and stuff. Like, you're anticipating cannibalistic scenes and activities throughout the whole film because, let's face it, it has cannibal in the fucking title. But what we get here is more or less just a survival type story. You know, where it ultimately turns into it has some twists and turns towards the end, and then you get some shit towards the end and stuff. But this one really isn't your traditional cannibal film. I mean,
no? Exactly what I thought a cannibal movie in a jungle would be like.
No, I mean, if you compare this film to Jungle Holocaust, which was done a year before, that one has a lot of cannibal shit in it, man. It's
I'm not saying like the amount of cannibal action you get. I'm saying the storyline, Dick.
Just story.
Like,
yeah, I mean,
like just the way that it's just like if you didn't tell me what this movie was about, and you was like create a cannibal movie. Like, based off of what you know about cannibal jungle movies, I'd be like, a couple people go looking for another person. They end up deep in some sort of cannibal tribe. Capture them.
You know what blows my mind about this genre? What blows my mind about this genre is that all these movies have pretty much the exact same storyline. I could never figure out why. It's a decent
enough storyline, right? Because it's kind of like the Rockefeller dude, right? Like, isn't that like the legend of what happened to him?
Yeah, exactly. But like, I could never figure out why someone didn't try to change it up a little bit. You know, it's just so simple. It's like, I mean, this just happened a year before with Jungle Holocaust and stuff. It's very, very similar. But I don't know, man. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. At least this one in the narrative, you know, it tries to pull a little bit of strings on you too, and you know, change it up with some twists and turns and stuff like that. That's I don't know, might be good or bad for the film. I don't know how you guys feel about, you know, what you know, that reveal is in the third act, but who knows? Maybe it's a little bit predictable. I don't know, but
yeah. I mean, I like the idea that it's like, I like the idea that it's like this this mountain, right? Like it's a legend of this tribe that's supposed to be extinct, right? But then she kind of sees one, and they're like, did it have the fucking bone thing on its arm? And she's like, yeah, it did, come to think of it. And then they're like, that must be the Ooga Booga tribe or whatever. And then they, like, you know, I like that. It's like mysterious. It's like creepy, right? Like oh shit, not the Ooga Booga tribe. They're gonna fucking eat us.
I think it's the whole aspect too of, you know, this film. Throughout the narrative, it feels like they travel so fucking far to get to where they are, and they literally have to go up mountains and shit like that.
Yeah, because we keep having to watch animals die and shit.
Well, I know all that stock footage that they put into these goddamn movies. Like, it's so unnecessary. This one has
honestly, like
this
the
one has a lot.
Monkey one, man. Like that one feels like some straight stock.
Well, the
footage.
monkey and Python scenes actually was filmed.
Are you serious?
That was actually legitimately filmed for this movie?
Yeah, you never watched the documentary on the DVD?
Oh, I probably Dude, I probably did, but I mean, let's face it, man. I have.
He did. He was trying to get the Python to act, so they did this thing where they brought the monkey to try to get some movement. They were going to try to get the monkey hurt. And
that's fucked up.
Yeah, that is a little bit fucked up.
Listen,
actually.
That's the saddest part of the whole movie, man. Like, I'm just because like, monkeys are like little people, dude.
I know, you can see him blinking in there and shit. And it's like, dude.
He's like, I'm just thinking of what he would be saying. He'd be like, help me, let me out, please. Like, and I'm just like, oh, dude. Like, I feel bad for this little dude, man. Like, he looked like he'd be the type of monkey to be my little homie, too. Like, he wouldn't even be a dick.
I obviously watch that shit because I think they talk about, you know, the cannibals at the end of the film with, you know, those little green snakes that are in that bowl of whatever gumbo or what the fuck they're eating there. Those guys, they were actually feasting on those real things. Those were real snakes that they were biting into and shit. I was like, that's fucked up.
Those are little pussy garden snakes. I don't
care
about
those. But still, man, they're still alive and you're like gnarling on them.
Yeah, I fucking eat a garden snake.
Ugh, dude, I'm not a picky eater, but Jesus Christ, man. Those things look ill-mented.
Really? It's a fucking, look like a leaf. Like a little skinny celery stick or something.
I don't know. They were pulling out some other crusty critters out of there too.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I like when you see like this, like the like piles of like skulls and shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Again, being a Martino film, this one's actually shot really well, like right on locations and shit. I think they shot this movie in Malaysia. I think that's what I remember from it. I can't remember. Yeah. But yeah, the scenery is fantastic in this film, man. And to be honest, I would they must have not had fun shooting those river scenes in this film. They just look torturous, man.
The actors look
really like the actors in the water and struggling in there and shit. It looked torturous, man. It looked really, really bad. And actually, since we're on that river scene, man, that's one scene that just goes on way too long in this film. It must be 20 minutes long. Like seriously,
that's my biggest complaint with the entire movie. This is the longest movie when based on the synopsis, it should be the shortest one.
Exactly. This is me and Dylan talked about this, and I said to him, do you feel that that river scene went on too long? He's like, dude, that thing was like 25 minutes long. I'm like, I know. Every time I watch this film, it just goes on way too fucking long. And
listen, there might be 20 fucking minutes that you could have cut out of this movie.
I know. We completely 100% agree on this. I said this movie.
I agree with that too. This movie
could have been 85 minutes long. Let's face it, the third act could have ended 4 different times. I mean, it just keeps going and going and going. Like when you think the movie's going to end in 10 minutes, you look at the time left and there's still 41 minutes. You're like, how is this possible? This is crazy, man. They're already there. We're at the third act part here. It should be ending in 15 minutes. No, it just keeps going on. That's one of the biggest problems with this film. It suffers from a good edit. It needs to be edited down. And then maybe take out some of the unnecessary animal kill. Like some of those scenes are really not necessary at all. But
I mean, the one thing that they do though, and I'm gonna be honest, like the snake monkey one, although it literally could have been half the length and still been just as effective.
Oh, for sure.
It reinforces the idea that you're out in the fucking
jungle.
Like that. Yeah. That's the one positive of a scene like that.
For sure, 100%. Yeah.
And I know we talked a little bit about the kangaroo killings in Wake and Fright. Right, yeah. I guess it's less bad when it's like slimy reptiles and stuff like iguana. But I owned an iguana for years, dude. Like I had a pet iguana. Like it was kind of sad.
Like the gator. You know what I mean? The gator, that huge iguana thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I had a pet iguana for about 6 years.
I was rooting for the turtle to fight the elephant.
Yeah, right. The turtle and the but I don't know, man. Like I don't like seeing this stuff. It doesn't necessarily like
the toughest one for me was that monkey and snake.
Like I can handle it. Like these animals would be dead by now anyway,
Yeah.
But it's not my favorite thing to see. But I don't know. How do you guys feel about it?
Oh, honestly, man, I'm always kind of caught between a rock and
these films, so I'm kind of used to it. But some of them are harder than others. Like that monkey python scene was kind of hard for me because they did stay on that one for a long time, and
he's struggling. Like that's what's sad about it. It's like, that one's probably one of the toughest ones. This little dude's so fucked.
I think the hardest one, honestly, man, is in Cannibal Ferox. The scene where they actually have that little, I don't know what those little animals are called, the ones with the really long pointed noses, but they actually have it on a leash.
An aardvark?
Yeah, those little things. It's like one of the characters' like little pets, and they actually use it as bait. They use it as bait in the film, and the fucking thing gets killed. It's like so sad because it was on a leash. It was like a pet, right? So I always found that to be one of the hardest ones. But I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, it's animals doing what they do. They talk about in the film. It's animal instinct. Mm-hmm. That's what this is what animals do in the wild. They fucking hunt and eat.
You know what's absolutely hilarious about that, dude? After I finished those movies, I watched the UFC fights last night. I watched all 3 of these movies back to back to back. Watched the UFC fights. Afterwards, it was like 1 a.m. and I turned on a show called Animal Fight Night, and it was literally animals killing each other, fighting to the death on TV. And it was like, there's this like fucking sickly looking lion who's like on his last leg. He has like patches of fur and shit. He looks like a cartoon cat that like an alley cat or something. Like he's skin and bones, and he's trying to beat this buffalo. And like this buffalo's whooping his ass, like tossing him around and stuff. And he's just laying on the ground, like barely breathing, like, and it's like, and that was the lion's last hope. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
It's kind of ironic, isn't it?
It was like was sad watching that shit too, but it was the same shit as it's in this movie.
Some good gore on this one though.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not, I always love the decapitation scene in this film.
Yeah, the head decapitation.
The way it happens is so awesome. Actually, another one of my favorite scenes, man, is when the dude goes ahead there and he gets caught in that animal trap.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like, puts him up in the tree. It's a fucking brutal
I remember when you and Dylan were watching it on your marathon, and Dylan's like, why is no one helping this guy?
They're just watching, like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Shit.
We forgot to mention one character, Manolo, who actually comes later in the film.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a weird, like, role reversal where he... Well, I don't know if we're going to go into that territory, but he becomes, like, our hero-type character in a way.
Okay, man. Getting back to the river scene, man, it has one of the funniest fucking dummy deaths. That scene always pisses me off because the way it goes down, you don't know what the fuck why Buddy isn't helping him, or you're like, what the hell? And then obviously that's revealed after, but like, dude, the way he slides down those rocks, man, is losing.
Andrew's such a piece of shit in this film. That guy,
he is, man. He's like a total bonafide piece of shit.
I love his looks like in the beginning of the scene where him and Ursula Andress' hair are like waving in like some imaginary fan that's going on. It looks like their hair is like blowing. And he's just giving like this serious look, like staring at them. Like,
Yeah.
Yo, I was just on the IMDb of this movie, and I just went down and scrolled to the message boards. And this happened back on Wednesday, November 24th of 2010. And it's from Buckaroo 2002.
It's like 6 years ago, almost to the day. It's crazy.
He says, does anybody... First of all, he sucks at writing. He says, does anybody whereabouts in the film I can find the scene in which a snake eats a monkey? I'm going off the UK DVD version. Is it on there? And the dude right under him, Raining Blood, from Friday, February 4th, 2011, answers at 1:26:59 a.m., says, what's wrong with you? It's like 3 months later he answers him. He's just like, what's wrong with you? And his name's Raining Blood. It was funny as shit. I just happened upon it, and just this guy is like, anybody know where the whereabouts in the film I can see the snake eat the monkey? And dude's just like, what's wrong with you, bro?
It's like, such a legitimate
this dude
answer.
is clearly a horror fan. His name's Raining Blood. And, like, this other dude's name's Buckaroo, and he's just like, anybody know where I could... And he's like, what's wrong with you, man?
Well, first of all, if he was watching a UK DVD, it's not fucking on there, probably in 2010.
Yeah, probably fucking not, because the UK won't uncensor any fucking thing in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
I would hate to live there.
Probably wasn't there, man. It's brutal.
JP's like, I'm importing American releases. Fuck this shit.
Yeah, I mean... I actually don't own this film, but I definitely want to pick it up now. Like,
this is actually a cheap release from Blue Underground.
Yeah, it's DVD only, I believe.
Yeah.
Blu-ray out.
Yeah, there's no Blu-ray of it. But
I think
it looks great.
I think Moods' favorite company is actually releasing this on Blu-ray.
Who?
Code Red.
Is it Code Red?
Oh, they're releasing this on Blu-ray? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, fuck.
That's ridiculous.
That is.
So
I always found it funny when I was watching this film that, like, I always expected Stacy Keach to be
the hero.
Yeah, like, don't you?
That's what I was trying to get.
He's Stacy Keach, dude.
I didn't want to really spoil that for the viewers.
Whatever, man. I always find it just. Yeah. I think that's why I find that fucking river scene even more funny. I'm just like, wow, that like totally just happened.
Like my mouth dropped the first time I see him. Like, holy shit.
I know, because I think you're anticipating that he's going to be helped. You know, it's like, you know, it's that moment in the film where Arthur's like, I don't know, man. No, you know, and then you're like, he should be reaching out and grabbing his hand, you know, kind of thing. But
he's right there, too. I'm like,
I always find it so fucking ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of one of those moments you're like, but it was Stacy Keach, man.
No, Keach.
Yeah, so I don't know. I love him in this film too. He's good. He's a good actor, man. He really is, man. He's just
I like Stacy Keach. I honestly like. Does anybody know why he did this film?
No, I mean I would assume for the money.
Well, I mean, but
maybe he was a fan of.
Was he like an
films.
Italian actor or something? Like it was just I didn't.
You know, it's really no different than John Saxon playing in like tons of Italian films. Like John Saxon was in tons of Italian
but
films.
Didn't he speak Italian? John Saxon?
Mm-mm. No, I mean,
no.
Who fucking knows? I mean, everything was always dubbed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like him. You know, he was in all these films. And
yeah, but
I think they did mention that in that Martino
in a bunch of them.
I know he wasn't good with the final product of the film because Martino talked about that. Even though they do remain good friends, there is one thing that happens in the film that he wasn't too keen on when it was first released, type deal. I remember, because I don't remember. I gotta watch that documentary again.
Yeah, I've definitely watched it. I just can't remember. It's been years. Probably watched it when I first got the DVD. I don't know.
Because he talks about a lot of stuff in that Martino in that interview.
One amazing thing in this film is that we get to see the original Bond girl's tits. It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Ursula Andress was, the original Bond girl from Dr. No, and we get to see her titties in this one. It's fantastic. Pretty cool. Still so hot, man. What's that?
Said I don't care about Bond.
Oh fuck!
You care about titties?
I do like boobs, but Bond, nah.
No.
Don't be sneaking Bond references into this horror podcast.
It's Ursula Andress. She's known for that fucking role, man. That set up her whole career.
I must be dreaming, you know.
Don't be fucking quoting Bond up in here either, yo.
Bond, James
Bond. Dave's gonna get pissed.
Oh, fucking talk about Bond.
Inconceivable. There's non-horror and horror podcasts. What the hell is going on?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, man. Do you guys? What are your guys' thoughts on the third act, and then when you know some certain reveals start happening and stuff? Do you guys like that in the film?
Like the cannibal stuff?
No, I meant with two of the main characters in this film, what their actual were.
Like, whoa, it's kind of fucked up.
I thought it was actually kind of interesting that they even did this because it just added like a certain
layer
element to the narrative a little bit, because I mean these things don't happen in these films, like twists, and they're usually played straightforward, right?
Yeah.
And like for that to happen, I look at it and go, are you fucking kidding me? I was just like, that's so crazy. It's like Martino just like, let's do something a tad bit different, you know? So I mean, Martino that's really talks? Probably. But I don't really have a problem with it. I think it's actually kind of funny. But I think what do they say, uranium or something? I don't know.
They're looking for uranium. Like,
it's like so good. So good.
I don't know. You guys have much more on this one?
There's not really a whole lot to say about it.
How would the pig getting fucked scene?
Oh, dude, that shit. I was like, what the like. I don't even like. I feel like that animal was abused. Like, I don't even know if that's like. Obviously, he wasn't actually fucking it, but I mean, like
the whole Cannibal God, the whole Cannibal God scene. Like when we get the reveal, you know, of what their god is, and then of course when they put her up in a godly mode too. That everything that ensues after that is just so fucking bizarre. It's like they were just, okay, we need to do this. We're gonna shock people with that, and because we get like snakes eaten, and then we get chick
the midget, cannibal.
Yeah.
Oh, the chick masturbating. Yeah.
The chick.
Yeah, flicking her beam.
She's putting fingers in her vagina, and they're showing it. I'm like, wow, that's pretty graphic. It's crazy.
It's pretty awesome.
Like,
I know, but it's shit that you just.
I can't think of stuff like that as awesome because I just feel like the whole time I'm looking at that scene, I'm like, dude, your hands are dirty. Like, there's dirt everywhere. Like, you're gonna get an infection. It's gonna smell weird. It's gonna hurt.
The worms are placed.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, really, dude putting his dick in that huge ass pig or whatever. Oh my god.
He's like, his dick's dirty. You gotta wash that dick first.
What was the reason dude got it? There's a penis decapitation in here
because he tried to rape their
Oh
god.
yeah, they don't like that.
And you know, it's actually quite interesting too, because that scene right there was completely the inspiration for the penis mutilation in Cannibal Ferox. It's completely the same thing. Cannibal Ferox.
Oh, well, that didn't look very good.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to. I mean,
I've seen 10 million times better penis kills.
Yeah, I mean, I have too. Yeah. But it still looks vicious as shit, though, man. I mean they don't cut away; they remove the penis.
The good thing about being a male watching a penis mutilation is it doesn't really have to look great for you to get the idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much.
We know how painful it is.
It looks just painful every time.
So
yeah, that definitely is no zipper on the penis. That's for sure. It's a little different type of pain.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, Mountain of the Cannibal God. I don't know
what you got, Moods. It's your go.
All right, so Mountain of the Cannibal God. I've always really enjoyed this film. There's parts in this film that it's just hilarious to me. I burst out laughing at parts in this film. I don't know what it is, but anything with dummy deaths, man, it fucking gets me, man. But, you know, Martino does a pretty good job with this, you know, in a genre that's been criticized to death, you know, for having majority really, really shitty films. I mean, most people consider Cannibal Holocaust to be a legitimately good film. But, you know, essentially this one kind of fits into a mold for the most part. I think Martino kind of elevated the narrative a little bit with some twists and turns. I thought that was quite inventive of him to do something like that. In a genre, like I said, that's very much in a mold. It just doesn't happen. Yeah. It's cool to see people like, you know, Ursula Anders in this film and Stacy Keach and stuff, like recognizable faces, you know, that you generally wouldn't see in these films. And I think it really kind of sells the film for me. It's very impressive, the stunts and the shit that they went through in this film, because let's face it, man, those river scenes look pretty nasty, man. They look like, I mean, there's a scene where they get on the canoe and they're just kind of, or not on the canoe, on like a huge log, and they're just like floating down the river, and like really doing that shit. I'm like, that's a little dangerous, man. You know, I don't know if I'd really be wanting to do that, but I'd be probably scared of piranhas or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, man, Martino does a great job. Cinematography is pretty cool. Again, music always seems to flow really nice in these films. My biggest complaints, though, is just the lack of a really good edit, man. This thing just seems like, okay, we have all this footage and now we're going to throw it in there. This seems very almost amateur. You know, when, you know, first-time filmmakers or, you know, indie filmmakers
don't want to cut any of their own work.
That's the thing. And I understand that mentality, but for an established filmmaker, it just kind of seems like, dude, it's very noticeable that this film should have been 25 minutes shorter. Animal killings, I'm not really going to get into. I mean, it is what it is. Some people enjoy them, some people don't. I'm indifferent with it. Sometimes I don't really give a shit. I've seen them a million times. It doesn't really bother me too much, but it is what it is. All in all, a pretty fun film. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. So,
yeah, I'm right with you on that, man. It's you know, I haven't seen a bunch of cannibal movies, but I enjoyed it. You know, it had some cool moments. I don't really need a ton of actual, like, human flesh eating. Like, I get the point. I understand what it is. Like, it makes me feel gross thinking about it and stuff. Would I ever do it? That's probably what you guys are asking. Of course I would eat people.
Survival mode? Fuck yeah, man. Always been a little bit curious, to be honest, man.
Yeah. But anyway, some wild moments in the film. It is cool seeing Stacy Keach and stuff. I like the jungle. I like jungle settings, period. I hope that I hope to see more films that are set in, like, the jungle location. Like, it's cool. It definitely is cool. I'm right with Moods on this one. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay, so really dug like the setting of this film, and I like the score also done by the D'Angelo's brothers. Again, they did the score for this one. Really love the main theme to, like, when you see, like, the reveal of the mountain and the title sequence comes up, and you see, like, these barrage of, like, animal killings that happen with it. I really like how that scene dwells in. Really interesting development of the film where we get to follow these characters to the end, and it's not like I like Stacy Keach and Ursula Anders and their roles. weird development with certain other characters, like Andrew, whose character I'm not really my favorite, but I'm kind of glad he gets what he gets at the end, and very relevant in the certain interest and ending of this film with like pig fucking and weird like flicking the beams and other good stuff that happens with that. So, and I do agree that this film is a little too long. It could have been cut down. So I'm going to give it another solid 7 out of 10.
You know, I think using the word cut down, I think this movie could have been chopped down a lot. I think cut just sounds a little too minuscule for it. Yeah, it just suffers from that whole time phobia, or what do you call it, JP? I think you had a word for it or something one time. I don't know, but I swear you had a good term for it. For films that run too long.
Oh, you mean just this saying where, you know, the first 90 minutes is free and then you're paying?
Oh no,
for
there's that one too. Yeah, this one, oof, man. But it's still good though.
Damn it! If I had a good term, somebody remind me.
I know. I swear that you used something one time. It was like time. I don't know. It was in reference to, you know, indie filmmakers, you know, low budget filmmakers that are just so scared to cut what they shot because you're like, I fucking paid for that shit. I'm putting it in my goddamn movie.
Yeah, I'm sure I did. No, man.
It was it was something. Yeah, I know. I wish I could remember.
Listeners, help me. I want to sound smart again.
Yeah. All right. So that is, you know, the end, man. That is the end of Italian month.
Yeah, it's not the end of just Sergio Martino week. It's the end of Italian month for another year.
That's right. That's right.
It was so fun. It was fun. It was so much fun.
It is, man. It was.
Nobody knows really, that line. Come on.
Every show.
Jeremy.
Yeah, where he's like, of course you fucking had fun. It was your fucking idea.
Yeah, I know. Snap showing.
That's classic material, man.
And you posted on YouTube first.
That's one of my favorite moments of the show ever. He got so mad.
He was so pissed at the end.
Because he would always fucking say that every show was our idea. And then we literally broke it down one time. JP's like, hey, this show was Jeremy's, this was Mood's, this was mine. And it was like
Jeremy had 70%, the most.
70% of the shows were Jeremy's ideas, and he was always saying it was always our idea. It was the funniest shit ever. I love proving that kid wrong. It's great.
I know.
It's fucking fun stuff.
Yeah, but that's the end, man. Another one come to a wrap. What we're doing next week is actually taking a week off. We just went, I know, like 4, 5, 6, maybe like 6, 7 weeks in a row for sure. And, you know, it's been a while since we've done that, and so we're going to take a little break. We'll be off for a week, and when we come back, it'll be a What We Watched episode. So it will be all just movies that we're watching, and we'll go round table. I'm even thinking about cutting news down a little bit and, you know, limiting other, you know, segments just so we can do a really big one because it's been a while since we've done a big one.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll just be a couple hours of us going roundtable style on the films that we watched. If you have any suggestions or anything for me, you know, if you know that I have something in my collection, you want to hear my thoughts on it or whatever, feel free to drop a line on this episode and I'll try to squeeze it in. I'm not sure if the other guys are down for suggestions or not, but
yeah, I'll do suggestions as long as I own it. You know what I mean?
Oh, I thought for a second this was just your show. It's like, do you have any suggestions for me?
It's my.
Well, I didn't want to speak for you guys and like hear you had a plan on the shit you were watching. Like, no, I gotta squeeze this shit in too. Thanks, JP. God damn you.
Honestly, you know what I think I'm gonna do? I think I'm just gonna watch and review a whole pile of Italian films.
Oh god. Yeah.
No, I should probably start digging into some of these films I've been buying lately because I've been buying so much that, you know, I got to check out some of this shit, man. It's going to be awesome. Looking forward to it, man. It's going to be all first-time watches, I think. Maybe that'll be my theme for what we watch. First-time watches.
This will be my first-time watch.
There you go.
Yeah, so... yeah, feel free to do that, guys. And after that, I don't know exactly how the schedule goes after that, but I think it's a Christmas episode. And then based on scheduling, it might be another week off or maybe even 2 weeks off. I'm not sure how it's going to go because like we have holidays falling on Sundays when we record and stuff, so we'll keep you guys posted. Me and Moods got to talk about that, see what we're doing. But let's get into the wrap-up. Voicemail 724-426-6665. That's 724-426-6665. If you want to drop us a, what do you say, Moods? A phone in, and then please do so.
Drop us a call.
And yeah, dude, rate us on iTunes, review us on iTunes, send us emails, 22shotsofmoodsandhorror@gmail.com. If you haven't already joined the Facebook group, we are 975 members strong, pushing for that 1,000 mark. So be there, be square, yo, dog. And also the website, 22shotsofmoodsandhorror.com. There you can see the ratings, the episodes, other stuff that we've done that's not on Horrorphilia. Monster Vision episodes that I've uploaded, as well as the Hall of Fame and the Hall of Pain, which I will update. Hopefully during this 2-week break I'll have some time to get to that stuff. So want to thank Rob from Georgia for helping me out with that stuff. He just sent me a pile of all the episodes ratings, which is nice of him. And also want to thank Jason Lloyd, horrorphilia.com.
Mr. Lloyd, woohoo!
For hosting our podcast. And also I do want to say that guys, we can't let Exploding Heads keep beating us, yo. Like, I know we let them win, but eventually we're gonna have to not let them win, and to do that we need more people to download the show.
That's right, man. That is right.
I'm just fucking with you guys.
I'm kind of torn between this two, because if by chance the Fulci show comes in number 1 next month, I'm gonna be like, seriously, is it because Brandon was on the show, or what the fuck?
Or
it's
even
gonna be
if
like,
Argento comes in number 1, then is it fucking because Dave's on the show?
Well, that's the thing, right? And that's the question. It'll be number 1 and number 2, and I'll be like, and then this show will be number 3.
This show won't even make it.
This show probably won't even make it. No, it's getting way too late. Yeah, we had this happen with the Halloween show, so
yeah,
chances are expecting it again.
But at the same time, like, I tell you guys to download it, but at the same time, like, a lot of you guys listen on YouTube, so if you do that, I mean, fuck it, that still helps our show. So, I mean, you don't have to be, like, I don't want people to just stop watching on YouTube and then start to download the show because, whatever. Because then we'll think our numbers suck on YouTube, and then we'll be like, what the fuck, man, what's going on?
What's going on? Oh, they're all paranoid, like, what the hell's going on?
But anyway, we got a jet, guys. I hope you enjoyed Italian Horror Month. Thank you, Derek, for joining us on all of the fucking recent episodes.
All last, 35 episodes.
You said you're coming back next week?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Okay. And Moods, I assume you'll be here?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
You guys are dumb as fuck because I'm not even going to
up.
be here next week. You guys are dumb because we're 2 weeks from now doing the show. So,
I was taking a little vacation.
See, I'm just so used to this roll we've been. I think we did 7 in a row, actually. Yeah? So that was a pretty good fucking roll. But yeah, sorry, man. I was looking at porno.
All right.
Just joking. I'm just joking.
With that said, guys, we'll talk to you later.
Peace.